This episode brought to you by Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0.
All right, here we go. We are ClevelandMoto Podcast number 327. So, yes, I get... We'd like to thank the Foley department for that one. What does it sound like when people run across gravel?
Sorry.
Wow, off to a great start. Yeah. I'm sure our listener will appreciate that.
Demonetized copyright.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
I was gonna try to send it to someone.
So it turns out in the background somebody was playing a Steve Miller song, and then we got demonetized.
That happens.
So what I will tell people, do you guys know, something like 463 podcasts ago, we made a joke about Steve Hoffert's rating system, where he's like, he goes to a restaurant, has an amazing meal. It's everything he wanted. The service was impeccable. How many stars would that get?
3
stars, right? 3 stars. And if you were listening to this...
It's not if it's impeccable. It's if I got what I wanted. It's 3 stars. If I got more than I wanted, I give it more stars.
It makes no fucking sense, Steve.
So a win... So achieving the goal is 3 stars because he's leaving room for it to go 2 up or 2 down, right?
3 stars is acceptable.
Right.
Well, you just have to understand that this is the reason I do that is because we're not allowed to.
Here we go.
No, when you rate people at work, they tell you you're not allowed to give them a higher thing. So I always give people, like, if they do good work, I would give them a 4
3
or 5.
stars. Yeah.
No, I would give them 4 or 5 stars, and then they just X them out.
And a good meal.
John McElfresh is really, really right now dreading his next evaluation.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to make it that far.
You're amazing. 3
Still within your 90-day window, are you?
90 days, I wish. I wish it was only 90 days.
Yeah. So this is the thing. So because our podcast listeners have an equally fucked up sense of humor as we do, right? So do you know what we've gotten? Do you know what most of our reviews have been?
No.
3
stars. 3 fucking stars.
I love it.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
Oh my God.
We went from, I will shit you guys not. We went from a 5-star rating to a 4.1 star rating because now our podcast listeners love giving us 3-star reviews. And it's like, best podcast ever. Everything I wanted, 3 stars.
You get the Hoffert 3.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We went from a perfect 5-star score for every single person that took the time to leave us a review.
Wow.
We went from 5 stars to 4.1 because we now have a parade of 3-star reviews. And I was like, what the shit is going on? Why did we lose so much traction with our ratings? What's going on? I looked at them, I started reading them all, and I was like, you guys are the best. It totally rocks. Grumpy Seward guy says 3 stars. And I'm like, oh. So you know what? That's one of those things where it's like, you're like, oh, check this out. I'm going to go have sex with this guy's sister just to prove a point. Okay, Dad. Way to go. It's like when you do something you think is going to really be funny and it ends up haunting you for the rest of your natural born life. And yeah, that's exactly what we got going on. I thought you guys would totally appreciate that. So
I apologize.
Everything he wanted, 3 stars. Yeah. So that is my lame ass way to segue into. Please, people, leave us fucking reviews. It turns out
we got to make up for all those 3 stars.
Well, okay, we do no small amount of work. No, let's be honest. Sleepy does no small amount of work to make a really fun podcast and to make a podcast that people enjoy listening to and that kind of shit. So if you enjoy it and if you've been listening and if you're not a Patreon subscriber, then the least you can do, motherfucker, is give us some fucking stars. Because if you can't reach into your wallet for $10 a month or something, you could at least give us as many stars as you can on as many, what do they call those? Avenues? Platforms, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like if you're listening to us on Spotify or Google or whatever, I don't give a shit. Google Maps, give us some stars. Give a fuck, man. We got some catching up to do.
We better rock on Yelp.
Yeah. Oh, man. Every once in a while somebody comes in and goes, yeah, well, I looked you guys up on Yelp and I was like, you realize only crazy people do that, right? Yeah, that's where it's coming from.
There was a kid that used to do a golf show. We do all these different golf shows.
Yeah.
He was an editor that was a freelance editor that did this one golf show. and he lost his mind. He burst into tears in my office crying because he couldn't handle the pressure of these shows. But then the best thing ever
How does
is
that feel? Because you've been doing golf for a while now.
Yeah, no,
You ready to cry?
I'm pretty much there. But the funny part is that his goal in life after that was to become a professional Yelp reviewer.
Oh my god!
Like he was making an effort to go out and like Yelp everything to try to get to be like a guy that when he walks in, they're like, it's this guy.
Whoa. Does he wear his little Yelp pin everywhere he goes? And fuck
South
that
Park
guy.
made an episode of that, right?
What's that?
South Park made an episode of
I'm
the Yelpers.
I'm a social influencer.
Yeah.
We've recently had to. We've sold 2 bikes to people who identified as social influencers.
Oh my god!
And both of those people failed to send us the payment for their bikes.
Yeah, exactly.
We had to chase them both down.
Exactly.
And these are people whose entire Facebook page is, look at me using this beauty product. Nobody's paying you to give them that review, but here's you are like basically taking like artisanal shots of people using or you using a thing, holding every item you've ever had in your hands, you've held next to your face and smiled, right? And done this like, this is my favorite laxative. And but that's the thing is, just because you're using it doesn't mean I want to use it.
Right.
But you look at their Facebook page and you're like, they list their job as social influencer, and then you realize their repertoire is Facebook.
Do you know that a lot of bill collectors have latched onto this? And so like on some of the big media, like social media influencer people or something, if they get a car or they do something and they're like, oh, check me out, I'm jetting to Paris. And it's like these people are now going on and saying like, well, when you get back, could you make the last 7 payments that you haven't made on your
James looked this person up who didn't pay their bill.
Yeah.
And James looked this person up via their social media and realized that this story about them like, oh, well, we were somewhere that didn't have cell phone service and we couldn't send you the money that we owed you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And James is like, yeah, but you posted every hour for the past fucking 3 weeks that you haven't paid us. You posted a picture of you with your fucking, bath salts or whatever the fuck.
So what does that tell you about the income potential of these social?
Clearly, it's a massive source of income. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
they're all pounding salt out there.
Yeah, they are. they're pushing their products real hard, and their product is themselves.
Pounding salt.
Right, exactly. The Egyptians were way into that shit, right? That was like built empires pounding salt. To my immediate left is
Oscar,
yay. To his,
Johnny Mac.
to his.
Steve Hoffert.
Dan Kromke.
Chris Smith.
and Sleepy.
Who rode their bikes tonight? Ain't that a fucking hilarious thing?
Yeah.
That is fucking hilarious.
It's May 6th in Cleveland.
It's May 6th in Cleveland. I think we got up to a whopping 48 degrees today.
I did write this week though.
You did, yeah?
Yeah, for like a block, and then the clutch cable just snapped, and then I couldn't do shit. So I had to do the walk of shame back to the house, pushing my fucking bike back because the clutch cable. At least it broke like a block away
That's
from my
good,
house,
yeah.
and now it's like fucking.
It
So
could
it's not
always
that
be
bad.
further.
Yeah,
It could 100% always be further.
So I'm not complaining.
At the shop, it's been insane. We're getting a bunch of bikes in. We got a ton of people trying to pick their bikes up. And it's funny because all the people whose bikes came in that we have been feverishly working. If you guys are watching the video, yay. We're shooting the video in reverse today. We've changed our orientation. Anybody who was straight is now no longer straight. We're now slightly bent. We are, yeah. But we had to do this because
It's a Peroni's podcast.
It is. It is. Exactly. But we had to do
Bill
it
for that.
Yeah, because there's no fucking room left in my shop. And these guys had to wade through tons of bikes to get here. Here's the irony. I've been waiting on my bike for 3 months. When's my bike going to get here? When's my bike going to get here? Your bike is here, sir.
Yeah.
It's prepped. It's ready to go. Come and get it. Well, it's chilly. And then the other people are just like, when's my bike coming in? I'm like, well, I can't tell you. People, I'm going to tell you something. Just because Amazon can tell you where your anal bleach is doesn't mean that I can tell you where your $7,000 bike is. I really can't. I honestly can't. There are people in warehouses in Texas that have control over that information, and they drive forklifts. And they don't drive them well. Then I have seen more crates this year, metal, wood, and cardboard, that have been violated in every possible manner by a forklift operator.
Well, the shipping companies don't care either. Like typically when we get a shipment, it's the truck driver. Where the hell are you?
Right.
I'm out here someplace.
Yeah.
They don't even tell you when they're coming.
Yeah.
They don't even give you a date.
Yeah.
It's like you ordered the piece of equipment 16 weeks ago.
Yep.
And then at the same, like 18 weeks out or
Right.
24 weeks later, some truck driver's like, I can't back in your driveway. Can you come out to the park with your forklift and take it off my truck? Because I've only been driving a truck for like 2 minutes.
You guys do know that they have released, so there's a system out there in the world right now. If you're not aware of how transportation logistics works in the United States of America, a bill got passed. A bill got passed a while ago that is tied into like an anti-opioid addiction bill. And this bill that got passed reveals to everybody, part of a pay-as-you-play system, you have to pay a membership. So, Oscar, let's say for the sake of argument that you own a very small trucking company. You maybe own 4 trucks, a logistics company. Now, for Oscar to stay in business now, Oscar has to pay a membership fee to the federal government to be part of a commercial driver's license. They call it a clearinghouse. And that is, now let's just say everyone else at this table has a CDL. And now let's just say John and Steve both work for Oscar as drivers. But John got in trouble a little while ago, about a year and a half ago. He had a bit of a DUI. But he hasn't been telling anybody about it because he's been good at work and he hasn't gotten any tickets. But he had a DUI and he took care of it very quietly without letting Oscar know.
But he smokes weed every day when he drives.
Okay,
too.
but well, that's the other thing. Let's just say for the sake of argument that Steve, on the other hand,
Hypothetically.
Steve has never had a traffic ticket whatsoever. Okay, and so Steve's never had a traffic ticket. He's good to go, and he's been driving for Oscar as well.
I want to raise Oscar.
But Steve is
3 stars, bitch. You're not getting shit.
You were perfect. You were perfect, Steve. You got 3 stars.
Perfect, amazing.
But
3
for the sake
stars.
of the story, Steve wants to go work for Chris. Okay, so
Oh, fucking way.
so Steve wants to team up with Chris and start their own company because Oscar's not paying Steve enough for
you
his
go.
3 stars. Now, here's the thing. Oscar now gets a letter from the U.S. government that says he has to pay thousands of dollars a year as an operator to prove that he has access to.
Once again.
That's good. Did you turn your mic up for that?
No, I want
That was good. Okay. So to basically, he has to pay thousands of dollars a year to prove that he is getting access to all of his employees and potential hires' driving records. If you don't pay that, guess what happens to your permits? They're done. Okay, but now you just paid it for the first time, 6 months ago, and you got a report that said John's got a DUI. So now you got to fire John. Okay, even though he's been great, but you didn't know about it. He got a DUI he took care of on his own.
I have a family.
I know, but you got to fire him. But John now can fight for his job back. So John can fight for his job back by taking federally approved classes and paying a federally approved fine so that he can prove that he went through all the steps so he can keep his job.
It's a fucking money grab from the
Can I
government.
get
money
money
grab.
from the federal government to pay the fine?
Sorry, John, you can't.
No.
No, it comes out of your pocket. But now Steve wants to go work for Chris.
That's not fair.
Because Steve, but now Steve has to pay money because now Steve wants to change jobs. Steve has to make sure that he has his record so he can walk in the door at Chris's company and say, here's my clearinghouse report, here's my record. So Chris, who already pays the fee or has started paying the fee that you're paying, also there's going to be money coming in from Steve.
For the transfer.
Because Steve is going to pay to get access to his file. So now it
He
is.
already has access.
Now,
to
has
my
anybody
phone.
ever gotten a job where you had to go get fingerprinted? Anybody? Did you get those fingerprints for free? Okay, or did you pay somebody to take your fingerprints?
I think I paid a little bit.
You paid a little money. You went to a place called like the Security Hut or somewhere?
Yeah.
Where it was people that otherwise might not have jobs are sitting there like basically taking your fingerprint scans and sending them off to the federal government and then giving you a form you could take to your future
You might
employer.
be able to do it at the DMV these days.
They
I don't know.
might.
I went
I
to
knew
the
that-
police department.
You can. So, but anybody, any teacher or anybody who works around kids by any standard has to have these things done. And in fact, when all of our staff got their notaries, they all had to go pay $75 to have their fingerprinting done. That's an additional fee. Okay. And what this has done is this driver's clearinghouse has created in the past 6 to 8 months a massive shortage of drivers because all those guys that were driving around like John that had something not so great in their record in the past 10 years that they have been sitting on and still driving for UPS or still driving for Federal or still driving for a Ryder or whatever, all of their data has now come home to roost with their employers. This has affected mostly people in the fuel transportation industry. Has anyone seen the price of gas going up lately?
Yep.
Yeah. Turns out that gas arrives at gas stations in trucks.
What?
Yeah, I know. There isn't a pipeline that goes right to the gas station. That seems unfair. Why don't we just drive to the pipeline and get our gas? Of course. So it turns out that in the fuel transportation industry, drivers are not only certified CDL operators, but they're also hazmat certified operators. And these people that had a little blemish in their report are now getting told by their employer, you can still work for me if you enroll in this program, thousands of dollars, and then in 90 or 120 days, you can start working for us again once you've completed the class. Guess where most of those drivers have gone? Into the construction industry. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a boom in building.
Because I just disappeared. I don't exist anymore. Okay, I'm still gone.
I can
don't
hear you,
exist.
though. We can still hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me? I
Yeah.
can't hear me. I'm just gone.
Oscar murdered him.
Oscar murdered my headphones. I'm going to assume I'm still there. Oscar's just going to have to make me come back somehow. So
Go into the light,
there we go.
Phil.
Oscar, good job. Thank you.
Go into
Thank you
the
for
light.
fucking it up and then unfucking it. That was wonderful.
Yeah, at least it wasn't me. That's
It's
all
nice
I
to know he has that kind of power. But anyway, that system right now is causing a lot of people concern because people are going, oh, the gas prices are going up. It must be politics. It's not. It's the fact that there are less truck drivers and companies who move things around are having to pay more money to get truck drivers. And like you said, the quality of the truck drivers is going down dramatically as the good ones who may have had one small problem have lost their right to drive. So now they're becoming desperate and saying, look, I'm willing to pay you twice as much money as I would have paid before for a less skilled driver. We have people here that cannot drive the truck well enough to deliver bikes to us. And you'll notice that you don't have to pull onto our property. You just have to stop the truck. If you can stop the truck, you can make a delivery at my shop. We have people that don't know how to use pallet jacks. We have people that don't know how to use the lift on the back of the truck. We've had people literally lose freight in front of our store the hard way because they are inexperienced operators. And that's happening in the entire industry right now. You can look it up. It's Commercial Drivers Clearinghouse. And it turns out it was good to go after not just truck drivers, it's every element of the transportation industry. So that means that if you are a baggage handler at the airport, you are now susceptible to this law. That means if you are a bellboy or what do they call them, a steward for Amtrak, or you drive a forklift at a freight hub for rail, that you are now eligible or susceptible to this program.
Wait, so if you get a DUI,
You're done.
you're done as a freight, like a guy driving a tow motor?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
It is right now a program that is set up and got through on the false pretense of being, this is good, this is going to help the drug problem in America. And what it's going to do is it's going to generate billions of dollars of money from the people who can least afford to pay it. And that's why this kind of got through. But for us in our world, this is a problem because our deliveries that used to take us 7 days to get here are taking us a month and a half, 2 months. Freight is backed up at docks. I used to be able to keep the Japanese cars would come off the boats and I would have 10 free days to keep them at the dock. Now it's gone down to 5 days and the late fee is $75 per day. So from the day they tell you this vehicle is ready to be picked up 7 states away or whatever,
Per vehicle.
you have 5 days to get it. Saturdays and Sundays do count. So if they tell you on a Wednesday, that means that shit had better be picked up by Monday. Otherwise, you're paying an additional $75 a day. So this has hit everywhere. The cost of this has gone up
shipping
dramatically.
containers too.
Yes.
I cannot get a shipping container for my compound. It went from $2,200 for a shipping container to $89.95 plus tax, and no ups and no extras.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. And then you have to pay to get it delivered.
Right.
It sounds like you need to sell yours for like 75 and just wait.
So for anybody who's interested in what this thing we just spent time talking about, if you are a person that does rely on freight coming to your business, right? Or maybe if you're a CDL driver, like a lot of our friends drive trucks for a living, and you got a CDL, this is called the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. Okay, FMCSA, Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. This is all fresh. This is all happening as something that got through the last administration and is now a program that has real teeth in it, and you could lose your goddamn job.
But it doesn't apply to foreign drivers, though.
Yes, it does.
It does?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
if you have a CDL.
No, I'm saying, what happens if you're driving a truck from like Mexico up to, or Canada to United States?
You probably have bigger problems.
Well, you probably do.
You
probably do.
Right.
But
honestly, right now, you probably have a lot more going on. But what I can tell you is if it's right here on the federal website, it says if you're a driver, to complete clearinghouse registration, you will need to enter and validate your current commercial driver's license or your commercial learner's permit information. This is required for you to even view your own record and respond to any query requests. So if they got a question, you have to register to answer the question. Okay, if you're an owner-operator, a self-employed guy, we know a lot of guys who are owner-operators. And if you're an owner-operator, even though you have your own US DOT number that's yours, you have no employees, it's just you. You need both the driver and the employer clearinghouse dues. You got to pay both. You got to pay both sides of the coin if you're an owner-operator.
is there an exemption to cities or municipalities?
Doesn't say
Probably
so.
not.
Yeah, doesn't say so.
Because I have no idea. All my guys have CDLs. So what am I supposed to, I'm supposed to check these guys out?
Somebody in your operation will be aware of the FMCSA Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. And likewise, if any of our podcast listeners have a CDL and are working as a professional driver for FedEx or UPS or something else, I found out about this from our UPS driver who said that he's boned because UPS always runs a skeleton crew. They don't have a lot of extra employees. And he's like, I'm overloaded because they're combining routes because so many drivers were like, and Chris, turns out you did something 3 years ago. So enjoy your life. Because Chris isn't set up in a position yet, and this system isn't set up in a position yet where you can take the classes right now to regain your clean status. So you can do what they would call the rehabilitation, or you can do what's the retraining program. So it's a big thing for people. Remember, as motorcycle riders, to tie it all in, we rely heavily on the safe operation of the vehicles that are bigger than us.
Yeah.
Right? And we don't necessarily want a guy driving a 53-foot truck that got hired last week, right? Yeah. So that could be scary. What are you pointing at John for? John doesn't drive 53-foot trucks. Come on.
He's getting his CDL.
Oh, he's getting his CDL. Oh, so this could have some teeth for John. Absolutely. So yeah. So that's a real thing, and that is a thing. So they do say that if you are going to be operating professionally, you have to register with the FMCSA Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. That's big fucking news. So it is important, not necessarily for motorcycle people, but definitely for people who use the roads, stuff like that.
I sit at the lunch table, and he's talking about J-bow turns and whatever the hell you're talking about.
So are you studying for the CDL right now? Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. I had my Class B just so I could drive limousines.
You don't want to do the J-bow. You got to do the button hook.
Oh, yeah, button hook. Absolutely. All right. So anybody else? Yay.
His homework.
He is literally doing his homework. There is no question about that. So, Oscar, you stopped by the shop the other day, didn't you?
Yep.
And you got a little... You got a little something. You got a little gift, right?
A little something extra.
You got a little something extra, right? So we were teasing about this a couple of weeks ago, and we read our introductory email from Anne Marie, and I'm not joking when I tell you that this person that we said we may or may not have said she was catfishing us. We may or may not have said stupid things. I do tend to say dumb shit. We may have said that. We did say it. Because she listened.
Oh, shit.
This is the first time ever we've had a potential sponsor who listens to our podcast. I'm not used to that.
That's not fair.
No shit. You're supposed to just send us shit and not ask questions. You're too busy to listen to this shit.
Yeah, that we count on that.
But apparently, Anne Marie listens to our podcast.
Oh,
and all the other podcasts that they give nice shit to. So, Oscar, while I'm doing this, you're doing that. So... who said they were a size large in the trouser department? Who said they had large underwear?
That has to be him.
And don't lie to me because I have the records. Okay, so you have a large underwear? Okay, you have a large underwear? Oh yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Wait.
Okay, this is a medium, so you know that's not for you.
Yeah, no.
Right? So that's probably for Nick. Who wanted the double extra large trousers?
That probably would be me.
Double extra large underbreeches. All right.
Yeah, the mediums were Nick and
Who wanted an extra large pair of underbreeches?
I think
All right, Chris Smith. Extra large.
I'm an L or an
All right.
XL. I don't
Who
even
wanted a
remember.
large? Did you want a large?
Yeah, probably.
You seem like a large.
Yeah.
All right. I have another XL.
I refuse to respond to that email.
Okay, fuck you.
Fuck you then.
I'll give him to a homeless guy. Right, that's exactly it. Who wants a double extra
I
large?
mean, it really wouldn't be much difference. I mean,
Double extra large, John. Double extra large T-shirt.
Yes, please.
Yep. All right, double extra large T-shirt.
Say it
Extra
twice.
large T-shirt.
Oh, XL.
Extra large.
I got an extra large and a double extra large. I think.
Okay, extra large.
Here.
Extra large. There you go.
Who gets this extra large?
Who else? Raise your hand if you're an extra large. Okay, back in the box it goes. Oh no, put it back over here.
No way.
I'm gonna find a very attractive
Oh my
homeless
God.
person to shave.
It's so soft and
So
nice.
this-
and
So who wanted a large shirt? Daniel. All right, Dan.
I think this has ball pocket technology.
It might. All right. And somebody else got a large? Anyone else? Or did everyone get a T-shirt? Raise your hand if you didn't get a T-shirt. All right, this one's for me then.
I just ordered some Duluth underwear that has that.
I'm wearing them right now. They're called bullpen.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the Duluth bullpen underwear. Your balls will never touch your thigh. They can't because they literally have.
Oh, but dude,
They literally have a.
did you feel this?
No, not yet.
Oh, this is gonna be like putting.
I'm not sure if I'm ready for that level of experience, honestly.
This might cause boners. I'm not sure.
That's why they didn't put them on for this podcast.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to try them out for next week's.
Go ahead and
wearing
pass
this
that to the
tomorrow to
right.
work.
Pass that to the right.
Ooh.
Pass that to the right.
I'm wearing this tomorrow to work.
I'm crawling in
Pass
sick.
that to the right. Pass that to the right. He doesn't want it. Pass that to your left. Pass that to your left. Pass that to your left.
Oh
Pass
wow.
that to your left.
Thank
pass that to
you.
your left.
This is
pretty
Pass that to your
cool.
left.
I'm good.
Are you shitting me? These are awesome.
Did you get that?
Yeah, that's
All right.
that's the new
All right.
They
one.
sent
there
us
you go.
lawnmowers?
I got.
Okay, so they sent us lawnmowers.
These are not cheap.
No. So, Anne Marie, so since we're new, okay, I'm going to make it extremely clear to people.
You're Lebanese. You fucking need it.
There's a crinkling that
Yeah,
I'm
who's
gonna.
doing
Yeah,
that?
okay.
Oh, that's Kromke.
Yeah, all right. So, yeah. If you're going to crinkle your paper, do it away from your microphone.
Yes, please.
Okay,
Pull
so
that up out of the fire.
this is,
Thank you so much, Manscaped. I'm highly appreciative of my lawnmower.
well, but more importantly, I'm going to read the federally approved provided copy.
Okay.
Okay. So, are you guys ready for like my first ever sponsorship read?
Yeah.
Ever?
Are they juiced up?
Support. Yeah. Now hold the speaker up against your pink parts. All right. Okay. Support for Cleveland Moto is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Champions of the world, Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their fourth-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code ClevelandMoto at manscaped.com. So,
And if you use it right, you'll get more than 20%
well,
off.
this is the point. If you use it right, the visual is there. Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. Unless you're Steve.
I have no intention of using this on myself.
There's a side bet actually.
Again.
John, I told you not to tell people that you shave my balls.
Well, I don't think I should have to shave my own balls when I've got a perfectly good
Poor
wife at home.
Nick. Nick's really going to be upset when you come to work with that.
I'm going to probably have a line out the door.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you guys know. I have actually tried this. So you guys, Oscar was here. We got these on Tuesday. Oscar was here. I went into my office and I tightened up what I have going on here. Because
Let's explain what you mean by tightening up and where you're pointing
so
at.
I learned
The audio version of this.
All right, for the people out there. So I learned from Steve Hoffert that you don't have to shave your face every day. And honestly, I'm the first one to tell you, I'm almost 52 years old. I do not shave every day. No. I shave about once a week. Okay, so I shave one time a week and I get away with it, lighter colored hair, what have you. But what I learned from Steve was that you can just use trimmers. So rather than taking a shaver out and maybe giving myself zits or acne or whatever, is I'll just use my trimmers, and I have a set of trimmers, and I'll just run them on my face, and then you end up with like a nice little short stubble that on me you can't see at all. And I haven't used a proper blade shaver on my face and neck and stuff for a very long time. Maybe once a month, right? And it's not because I'm doing it for economy of scale or anything. It's just I'm in a fucking hurry all the goddamn time. So I've been using that trimmer for my above the waist grooming, right? So, but I did use this. I used this trimmer they sent us, the 4.0, and I'm going to tell you, it works. Yeah. But what's more importantly is if you lift up the panel underneath it, there's fucking guards.
Yeah, I was about to say, I bought a cheap one to do the nether region and almost cut my balls off.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to tell you, it is dead serious when the trimmer that I have at home that I traditionally use for my face is a vintage Oster metal heavy. The cord is thick as a fucking dog's dick. Like, oh yeah. And you turn it on and you can smell an old barbershop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is perfect. And it's chrome and it's heavy as shit. And when you turn it on and you
the lights brown out a little bit.
When you use it for more than 5 minutes, you can smell ozone.
Yeah, it's
like,
eating up.
It's fantastic.
But it's great in the shower.
Which, by the way, I just read waterproof.
It's waterproof.
You can use these in the shower.
Not joking. I did try to use that Oster one time because, I was like, I don't have any guards on it. I mean, I have guards. So I use them when I shave my head. I shave my head all the time. But I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and just tidy up the ball sack. No, dude. No. If you don't have what is called skin-safe technology, and skin-safe technology is about it's not going to grab the elephant skin that the human male nutsack is made out of and chomp a bite out of it.
Well, I remember my dad always used to give us haircuts. And on the back of your neck, he would adjust the blades, but he'd make it so that the part that moves could still actually touch your skin.
It would hit your skin.
Yeah. And it would just fucking make the back of your neck red, raw, and burning. And I can't have that happen to my sack.
So this thing has a 4,000K LED spotlight on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has a nice vibrational profile with nothing that could obstruct in case,
So what you're saying is,
if you're doing
everything's a vibrator if you're brave enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're saying you can take polyps out of your large intestine.
Could be that too. Yeah. So 4 different trimmer guards. Because like my thing on this,
it's a nose trimmer or a polyp blaster.
Polyp remover. Yeah. You got a bad roid? Not anymore. You don't. It's Gonzo, baby. Gonzo.
You'll smooth that one out,
baby. When I shave my head, because I run the Cohawk now, and so now that I got the Cohawk going, I'll use a number 1 guard on the sides. So I'll shave my whole head with a number 1 guard. We joke all the time. We go to motorcycle rallies, we go to scooter rallies. We're like, man, tighten up my hair. I watched a guy clip another dude's hair one time with old school mechanical trimmers that you actually would squeeze your hand and it would cut, like the Amish would use, right? And it had a little orange triangle in the back of it, and you just go very slowly, and you just cut one swipe at a time, and that's the way our ancestors did it. And that's why their genitals all looked like Steve's.
Or the little cordless, the cordless ones that they were like a big version. They were orange. The first electric weed trimmers.
Yes.
We had a pair of those for a long time.
The Black & Decker Pecker Wrecker? Oh, yeah. Dude. For real. That thing is scary as hell. Wireless charging system, so you don't plug it in. There's no cords. It's inductive charging. That's fucking smart. Because you know what you shouldn't do on a water, like an object that's safe to use in the shower?
Have a hole in it?
Have a hole in it.
Yeah.
Not a good idea, right? So this thing's completely submersible.
And it has a really nice LED indicator when it's charging.
And what I did notice is that's the only trimmer I've ever seen that I would feel totally okay with sneaking into prison.
Right.
Oh, and it has
your prison purse.
You could be a millionaire in prison by taking in a grooming device.
And it's a USB Type-C for all your nerds.
Yeah.
It has to be USB Type-C.
That means you can charge it off your fucking laptop.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And you could probably use it backwards as a power supply for charging your phone up.
Yep.
You got a dead phone? Hold on. Good to go, man. I'm going to tell you, I am guilty of shaving my
taint.
Lower levels with the same shaver I use for the upper levels.
Yeah.
And look, man, yes, you are going to end up with a pube in your mouth.
You start top down. Waterproof. You can wash it though.
My wife's been doing that for 25 years. It never killed her.
Yeah, and you start top down. You don't start bottom and come up.
No,
you start top and go down.
I agree.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
Now, is it back to front or front to back?
Depends how messy it is.
Yeah.
But I would definitely suggest using the nose thing first to get that out of the way before you do anything else.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
I don't want to know.
No, I'm saying it has, but like you don't want to have residue on the whole thing.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
But
When
not,
you say residue, you say shit, right?
I'm just saying you're down in the nether regions.
Are you like literally? Are you dancing around the term dingleberry? Because I'm going to say post shower is a good idea.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You're gonna want to
Getting
shower
rid of
after
are you
trimming.
getting rid of Klingons with
Around
yours?
your, good for removing Klingons around your anus. But so I mean, okay. So this is one.
Does kind of look like a Class 1 phaser, though.
Yes, it does look like a Class 1 phaser. And so it is very stylish. It is very small and compact. It has a bright-ass light on it. But what I'm going to say is, since this is going to be the last time they're going to let us read this on the air, look, honestly, our behavior with previous items and things that we've done have flamed out. We know that people generally are not okay with the way we represent their products. The best thing is at this table, we've got 6 people that may or may not give it a try. We've got one person that is so fucking staunchly against it, he hasn't uncrossed his arms since I brought the box out.
Well, I'll say I'm
He's
generally excited
actively
about
resisted.
it.
Like, Steve is thinking that any one of us is going to run over with a fucking trimmer in Johnny Knox villain, right? Yeah. But we're not, Steve. We want you to be the flowery nose bouquet that you've always been.
But if you don't think that a Manscaped cam is not coming at some point.
Oh my God. Yeah. Don't even fucking do that to me, man. Look, I got
Jackass style?
You guys don't know, I got jumped into the Jedi many years ago into my club. And my dumbass had kind of said, I let my hair grow long. And I had said at this one particular rally, I was like, okay, anybody who can produce a set of trimmers, since you guys want to jump me in anyway, I will let you shave my head. And somebody produced what I can only describe as a ladies' Playmobil My First Shaver.
Oh, no.
That ran on one AA battery.
Oh, good.
And it was mostly dead. And my buddy Josh D, who's like a boxing instructor, like Josh D knows how to hurt you. And Josh D comes up and he's got this trimmer. And I saw somebody else with duct tape. And next thing I know, I'm being restrained. I lost an eyebrow. And I ended up with the wrong part of a lightning bolt on the top of my head. And I knew I was going to shave my head anyway. No big deal. Not the first time I've shaved my head. But I thought it'd be fun to give the boys something to do other than like literally jump my ass in.
Right.
So that was fair. So I left it as it was. I left it as fucked up and looked like a rat had chewed half my head off. I put a hat on and I waited until the rally was over. One of our dear friends, Stefan, his wife is a legitimate beautician, straight up, been to all the training, the whole deal, Avita certified, game on.
She fainted.
I had my hat on and I was like, Anne-Marie, I tell you what, I got to go to court tomorrow. I just need you to tighten me up and just make me look presentable for court. That's all I need.
Again.
So if you can do that, I just got to go to court. I need you to help me out. And she's like, Phil, don't worry about it. Come on in. She's got her stuff at home. I go into their house. I take my sunglasses and my hat off. I'm missing an entire eyebrow and I have a lightning bolt sideways that goes to about my skull. You can't put the hair back on.
Nope.
And Anne-Marie just goes,
Oh, fuck.
oh, Phil. Oh, Phil, we can't do anything with this.
Yeah, you're fucked.
And she was like, literally, there's no part that we can take that what we're leaving will be acceptable. So she's like, it's just going to have to be all of it. And it was all of it. And then the question was, do I take the other eyebrow?
I have propecia.
No, so she literally drew me an eyebrow. So and drew me a damn fine eyebrow, I might add. So yeah, but she took the other one down to match it. So she took my right eyebrow down. I look like a Bond villain. So it's pretty good.
But the judge must have been going, holy fuck.
Well, I didn't actually have court.
So there's
I made
six
that
of
up
us.
just to make it more fun for her.
6 of us to have a lawnmower 2, right?
Lawnmower 4.
Lawnmower 4.
4.0,
sorry.
motherfucker.
So we should jump in and just jump Steve since he doesn't want any shaving. We should just shave him down like a
Shave
baby.
him bald right
Why am I the only one
and
who
then duct
didn't?
tape his ass to that post.
Okay, well, first of all,
The telephone pole in front of the shop.
I don't think any of that is fun, and I'm terrified what I might find.
That's true.
Because honestly, now I'm looking at Steve's shorts going, that might not be enough. Like maybe Steve needs longer shorts.
He needs when they come out with the Lawnmower 5 Extreme.
Yes.
Then maybe
It's the one that can shave you outside of your pants.
it's a 2-stroke.
So now that we've had some fun with it, I do want to say that I do want to remind our podcast listener that you will get 20% off and free goddamn shipping, unless it's in one of those trucks, with the code ClevelandMoto. We have our code. Guys,
Cool.
we've never had a
that's
code
cool.
before.
Yep.
We've had a code. We've never had a code. 25% off for going to manscaped.com and typing in Cleveland Moto. Now, if you guys don't know, Cleveland Moto has always been one word.
Yep.
Some people don't fucking know that.
Yeah.
It's Cleveland Moto, all one word. Manscaped.com, use Cleveland Moto, and it says unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. I'm going to say what this might do. If you are a person that has this device, this might make some spots that were unauthorized, it might make those spots authorized in the future. I'm going to say I've seen grooming lead to green lighting.
You know,
Yeah.
if we do well, say
Game on.
say a whole say a whole bunch of people go to this and
Yeah.
they use our coupon and they,
Right.
they know we did well, right?
Yeah.
Can we challenge Manscaped to, if we do really well before Mid Ohio Vintage Days, they send us a big set of helium balls?
Wait. A big set of helium hairy balls.
Hairy ball,
Yeah.
right?
Because we tried to have helium sheep floating off of our bus. And we bought all the sheep. So the first thing was, don't buy sheep on Wish, because if you buy,
They're probably this big.
they were so ridiculous. John was there.
Yeah.
We bought these inflatable sex dolls that were sheep. They were called the Love Yous. And we bought these. That's not material, guys. That's real. I paid for that. So we bought these inflatable love sheep, and we were like all excited. We were like, yeah, we're going to fill them full of helium. And I bought a tank of helium. And we're like, we're going to fill them full of helium, tie them off the corners of the bus, and you'll have these inflatable flying sheep. We were telling people, look for the flying sheep. First of all, these sheep, oh, man. Oh, if I would have tried to stick my dick in one of these sheep, it would look like a Brazilian steakhouse. There was no, the sheep was maybe one dick long, right?
that's what-
yeah.
There's a guy there. This
They
guy,
were pocket sheep.
So
They were pockets.
So 12 inches.
Yeah. No, but dude, it's so ridiculous. There's a dude. This dude in Europe has it's a 9-foot wide 747 model.
Okay.
But it's filled with helium, and he can fly this giant thing in like a gymnasium. It's really slow and everything.
Yeah, but it looks super cool.
So Wish showed that video,
Right.
And then was selling the inflatable remote control airplanes for like $26, right?
Oh my
So some dude
God.
on YouTube bought one,
Yeah.
and he's like, so let's look at the video. And again, it's like a 10-foot wingspan giant thing going slow. And he's like,
Yeah.
let's look at what I got. He pulls it, and this thing is like this fucking big. It's like this little tiny thing. It's terrible. Wish is horrible.
Oh, Wish isn't the only one, motherfucker.
Oh,
I'm going to show
So he's going into a cabinet.
yeah, a cabinet over here. He's getting a VW bus
Hold
that's
on.
very small.
I'm going to pass this around the table so everyone can appreciate it. Would anyone like to tell me what that is?
That's a 12th scale. No, probably a 24th scale VW bus.
Is that from the Franklin Mint?
So that's what it.
This is not from the Franklin Mint.
No, it's not from the Franklin Mint. It's from fucking the usual scumbags. It's from
Wait, has a speaker on the bottom?
Guangdong, China.
Has a speaker on the bottom?
Well, at one point, it did something. Maybe the lights lit up.
I bet you roll it backwards and it goes forward. It's a kid's toy, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, no, you just say that's okay, because I'm going to tell you what it is. It's okay. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is.
Is it a record cleaner?
So if you order from Facebook, if you order that from Facebook, see what that is? The rolling Volkswagen hippie bus cooler.
Are you fucking kidding
So if
me?
you order that from Facebook, okay, because I ordered that from Facebook. Now it wasn't.
$500?
Hold on, it wasn't $449. It was like $39 or $49 or something. Okay, and you can see the handle folds under the front of the hippie bus, right?
Right.
So
Oh, yeah.
I ordered that device based on that picture. You can see there's some 12-ounce beverages inside of it, right? You can see that it's not shot with a macro lens. You can see all those things, right? So guess what? I spent $49 or $59 ordering that, what you see on our screen. And that's what showed up in the mail. So the idea is, somebody goes to Facebook or whatever and says, look, these assholes sent me this, little toy when I ordered a beer cooler that I could drag around. And then they'd say, well, you ordered a red and white Volkswagen and we sent you a red and white Volkswagen. So, you know, nobody ever told you the exact square footage of it. But all we did was we showed you this fucking picture. And not kidding, I did have to fight. And I did fight, by the way. And I fought and I got my fucking money back. But that's the result of it, was be careful when you buy some shit on the Facebooks or what have you, because this is the holds 24 beers. 24 beers, right? That's what it was. And I love that they went to the trouble to send me something that was the same color scheme and everything else.
Yeah, so
it wasn't just like we just took your money and fucking disappeared. It was like, we gave you something.
Yeah.
Right. And I wonder how many people got this like $1 fucking toy. And it does. There's like AA batteries it takes or something, or not AA's. There's like little tiny button batteries that can go in here. And I don't know what it does. Maybe it's a Bluetooth speaker. Maybe who knows what the fuck it is. But it didn't come with anything. It didn't come with a box. It didn't come with information. It came with fuck all.
It will not hold one beer, let alone 24.
No. It came, whatever it is. Whatever that is, it is. But the point is, it's not $39 worth of beer cooler, right? Yeah. And so here it is, and this is this is that same fucking scam showing up on the goddamn Maxim website. Hold on, the cast will come around so shortly, I swear. But so here it is being purported to be a real thing, you know, and there it is, you know, complete with obviously fake person reaching in and grabbing a rolling rock out of it, because that's what I was sold. Look at the front wheels turn. That thing's baller. That's a kick-ass thing right there. I mean, who wouldn't want to have that? But what you get is that. So, you know, when you order something, be fucking careful.
I mean, why can't you really buy that, though, for $39? Because that's not a bad price, and that's probably not that expensive to make. I mean...
Again, I tried to, John.
Is there anywhere where we could actually buy the real thing?
No. I haven't figured it out yet. So I also ordered a pair of Converse that had, like, horror movie stuff on them. All kinds of cool Converse shit. And
How small were those?
I ordered men's size 11, as that is what I am. I got a pair of shoes that were made in some part of China in a box that said Converse on it. The shoes inside said size 11 inside of the shoe. The shoe was no shit. Renee couldn't fit her foot into it. And it said
18
11.
inches.
It wasn't an 11 in any science of the world, and of course, completely unreturnable.
Infants size 11.
A joke. Yeah, it was maybe a 3-year-old child could wear it. But anyway, that's the experience I wanted to have. God damn it, and I didn't have that experience. I have that piece of shit instead. So there we go. That's called bait and motherfucking switch. Be careful of that shit. So in the wide world of motorcycles, because it is slightly a motorcycle podcast from time to time. Anybody have any stunning, shocking news or revelations this week?
Steve and I tried to buy a quad runner. Did we already talk about that?
Did you talk about it last week?
I don't remember.
Oh, I don't think you did. No.
We tried to buy a quad runner.
Did you try to buy a quad runner against each other? Because that's always fun.
No, we just went out to look at it, and it was billed as being a non-running quad runner, and he was asking $650 for it, and I took $400 cash.
Right on. For a non-running bike, it seems like you have everything in your favor.
I'm going to lowball the shit out of him.
Right? Yeah. Didn't we just talk about this? I mean, we talked about this last episode. We talked about the right way to buy a bike.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Rock on. It sounds like you're heading in the right direction.
So we went out there, and lo and behold, there's the quad runner and everything, and it's half torn apart, which is fine. That's what I'm looking for. Right. Old Suzuki 230, the LT with the big rack. I'm just looking for a yard quad, something stupid. It's not going to be raced. It's not going to be. I'm not using it for my business or anything like that. So he said it had a bad CDI, which I know from experience. Like, yeah, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, because I've seen a lot of situations where the CDI isn't really bad. I just wanted to make sure he still had the CDI. Because I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you can wiggle the one little wire, or you can just clean up the plugs, or maybe it's the actual pickup or something else. So, well, I put a new coil on it and everything, and it was running. I ran it down the road, and all of a sudden it stopped, and it wouldn't work. I'm like, cool. And I was getting ready to be like, well, I'll give you $400 for it.
Right.
Well,
but it was also all hanging there.
It was all hanging.
To anything.
I'm like, maybe something.
CDI and the coil were just like hanging there.
Really?
Yeah, maybe touching something or something like that. Well, then I mentioned...
Then manscaped him.
Yeah.
If I'd have manscaped him...
Then he manscaped him.
He better be paying me $400.
This is the new Janus. I think that might be the new Janus. I think we might be seeing... And so what was the year, make, and model of this fucking thing?
86.
Yeah.
Suzuki LT 230.
Okay, yeah.
Is it the orange one?
Yeah,
orange and blue.
Yeah, solid rear end, no suspension, not this quad sport.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's the completely unsporty quad.
Unsporty as shit.
It's the unsport.
But really, I just wondered because it has a huge rack on the back and just for hauling stuff,
Right.
and, whatever.
It's a utility vehicle.
It's just a little utility vehicle.
Right,
Two-wheel drive, not even four-wheel drive. Well, that's okay. It has forward, reverse, and to a dual-range transmission. So
that sounds like everything you need.
But one thing led to another, and he's like, here, let me just show you how it doesn't have spark.
No.
And when he started taking the spark plug out, I nudged Steve. I'm like, no.
The look on John's face was of utter horror.
I'm like, no, don't try to start
Don't you
it.
dare try to start it. That's not fair.
You dick.
Right. I'll take your word for it that it doesn't start. So there's a picture of it. So that's the Suzuki.
Yep. That's what I was trying to buy.
So that's what you were trying to buy. LT230 dual range quad ATV. Got fucking gold rims too.
Yeah.
Oh, but the other detriment to the Spike was that the front end was tweaked really badly.
Okay. Yeah.
So one of the frame that comes up was sheared off.
Okay.
And it was the one side was bent back about 2 inches if you look down on it. It was like the frame was like bent.
So he
in.
ran hard into an immovable object.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I mean, but for the yard, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
But
I
if you
don't
wanted
care
to ride straight-
if I'm crabbing across the yard or whatever.
Get a pipe wrench and straighten that shit up.
Yeah, we could work with it.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, he puts his fucking spark plug in it, hits it, and he's like, I'm like, He's like, it's got spark. Oh my God, it's working.
You're like, that's not spark.
Well, he put some freaking ether in it and put the plug back in and fired
It's
right up.
almost like he watched Moto Stories with Unkie Phil.
I think so.
Motherfucker, this is it. It's screwing us over, Steve.
We gotta shut it down.
Stop the channel. We're giving people too much good information for free. People are charging money to learn how to work on motorcycles.
Right.
And we're giving it away for free on Moto Stories with Unkie Phil. Fuck that.
So it's the robot effect?
It is the robot effect.
Yeah.
You're fucking roboting yourself out of a job.
So I'm like, oh, let's go, Steve.
Let's go. Way to go.
I'm like, well, I was going to offer you 400. Oh, I would never take 400 for it. I'm like,
Oh no! I can hear the price going up in the distance. Oh, you fucked yourself.
So originally, I was asking 900 for it. And I lowered the price down to 600 or 650 or whatever it was.
I was hoping to walk away with 400.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Right?
But there's other fish in the sea. The guy's got a bunch of other affordable quads, junk.
Right.
I'm like, well, call me if you decide you don't want this for your kids to ride around the yard.
There's a non-running.
And he was like,
quad.
he would have probably sold it for $650, but
Yeah.
I want it cheap. I want next to free.
Can't blame you for trying. I mean, yeah. Mid Ohio's coming up, guys. Mid Ohio's coming. So all that was just a little workout. That was just a brief. Hey, let's see if we're in shape for Mid Ohio. And clearly, you weren't. So work on.
I don't know what I did
work
wrong.
on your game.
I mean, I guess I should have just walked up and be like, dude, I'll give you 400 for it right now, no questions asked.
Yeah.
You should have dropped the spark plug on the ground. So
Cracked it. Yeah, broken it.
I would have had to attack the guy.
Just nerf the outer electrode. So just like, oh yeah, let me clean that up for you. Tap, 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 and nerf the outer electrode into the
I
inner
had
electrode.
nothing to do with it. He did it all himself. I was just like, oh.
You needed to intervene.
I was gonna
but
say,
you
that was
didn't.
your
You were
I
slow.
did almost want to be like, no, you don't have to try to do anything. I should have just been like, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I don't want to waste your time. Yeah.
No, the worst thing that ever happened to me is I was buying a GL650. Well, it wasn't a GL6. It was CX650. And the guy's like, the thing runs.
Yeah.
And so I went to his house. I looked at it, and he hit it. It started for 5 seconds. It wouldn't start. I'm like, don't worry about it. I still want it. I just want to buy it. He's like, no, it runs. He laid on that starter for 2 minutes until
the
it
smoke
started
came out.
smoking,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
it stopped. And I was like, shit, you burned out the starter.
And not an easy starter to get.
No. So I said to him, because I was going to give him, he wanted $750 for it or something. I was going to give him $750. I'm like, well, I was going to give you $750 for it, but now it's a $400 bike.
Right.
Because you burned up the
You
starter.
burned up the starter,
And he's like,
dude.
okay.
Yeah.
So I took I had 3 GL500s. I pulled the GL500 starter off of it, and I slapped that one in, which fit.
Yeah.
And I was fine. But I ended up hating it because it was just like a CM400.
Yeah.
It's like a slope back piece of crap. So
Sway back.
whatever. So yes, slope would be like this. Well, I guess it would be a sway back.
3 stars.
No, that was a 1-star.
Oh shit,
Dude, I've had
horrible then.
you know what? There are very few things where I'm ever like, where I'm like, yeah, you know what, that fucking bike is pretty fucking hateable, right? But the one that always comes in first place for me is the CM400 because it's like it never had a chance. Like the bike was just like the Honda marketing department and the Honda engineering department and the Honda design department was just kind of like, you could tell these guys all went to work in the morning and one day they showed up at work and there was a big giant 11-foot wide poster of a Sportster hanging in the front of their office. And they got to their desks and there's this 11-foot wide poster of a fucking Sportster hanging there. And then there's the bucks, like the chassis on either side of the room of a CM400 with no bodywork, just the frame and the tires and the motor. And they got to work and they were like, Oscar-san, your job today is to make that into that. And you're like, what floor are we on? Because I think I might jump. And what they ended up with a CM400.
But they were in the basement. So.
They were in the basement. Oscar-san was 12 at the time. So, yeah, it wasn't a big deal. But, like, not kidding. We're talking about, like, that motorcycle just is a collection of like, and I will admit, I also fucking hate the CB500T, which is another one where they're like, it was the same guy, but he was looking at a British motorcycle instead of at a Sportster, right? So that's the only difference with that.
I fucked myself out of a CB450 one time. Yeah, the guy had it. It was beautiful, original owner. Apparently his son-in-law somehow blew it up, but went and rebuilt the whole thing. So it had new pistons, rings, and everything. And he's like, we can't start it up. We can't get it to kick. It's just kicking through. So I give it a kick or two, and I'm like, I know what's going on here. I'm like, well, and the price was like $300. Oh. But it was like a friend of the family, and I'm like, I don't know if I just want to just totally. I'm like, I kind of know what's going on. Right. You probably could adjust this if you want to do this. Here, let me see. And I adjusted the clutch a little bit, and all of a sudden, because
you can get to those clutches from the outside, dude.
Yeah, the little thing. It's almost like a CT90, the little sets thing. Yep. And as it turns out, then it was kicking through. And I'm like, oh, he's like, we could get it started now. Thank you so much. I think we're going to try to keep it a little bit. And I'm like,
yeah, well, thank you so much for ruining your own goddamn deal.
Yeah, so I churned my own hole.
Did you need to open that beer?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So, you guys, we are, I don't know if anybody knew this, but it's National Bike Month.
What?
Not National Pedal Your Ass Bike Month. It's National Bike Month. And to celebrate National Bike Month, our friends over at the Cleveland Metro Parks, and we have many Cleveland Metro Parks patrolmen and many Cleveland Metro Parks service people who listen to this pile of shit we call a podcast. And so we would like to shout out to them. Shout out to goddamn Cleveland Metro Parks because, yes, we know your road is only 30 miles per hour.
If it was a couple more days ago, I would say, may the forest be with you.
May the forest be with you. But I would like to say this. I'm going to just say, for the sake of this podcast and for anybody who may drive through the Cleveland Metro Parks, you guys, never admit that you know that is a 30-mile-an-hour road.
Right.
Ignorance is your only shot. Look at that road. Look at it's beautiful. The corners are gorgeous. The curves are beautiful. It's banked. It's perfect. It's perfectly well maintained.
I was overwhelmed by the nature.
The nature was, I couldn't handle so much nature. Well, in fact, the reason I was going 55, did you see that amazing 12-point deer that jumped out at me? I had to miss him.
That wood was giving me wood.
Not us. On what, Saturday? We got to tour all the metro parks at about 19.3 miles an hour for all 35 miles of it.
No. That was horrible.
Did you guys get behind? Oh, no, it was Sunday, wasn't it?
Saturday. Right?
Oh, it was Saturday?
What was in front of you?
Saturday.
There's no Saturday.
Were you guys behind a Janus?
You can have a Sunday driver on a Saturday.
I think it was actually a Subaru.
Really?
See, I wanted to pass, but I didn't know how you guys feel about me passing somebody, so I didn't pass.
You know, the trick is somebody has to be the sacrificial you got to be the first lemming over the wire. So what you do is you make the pass, and then you slow down to basically, wave the guy over, and then when he pulls to the side, all your friends go past. And then what you do, and I've done this before, is you walk up to the window on the car that you just pulled over, and you'd be like, "Are you okay?" "Oh, yeah, I'm fine." Are you okay?" "Well, I'm okay." Oh, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe you were sick or having an episode or something because you were really driving slow and I wasn't sure. And I saw you moving around in the car. I thought you might have been having a heart attack. I just wanted
Stroke.
I thought maybe I could offer first aid. But if you're okay, that's fantastic. And meanwhile, your friends are down the road and now you get to catch up to them.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my favorite move in the
That's
world.
a good move, man.
Yeah, pull them over from the front.
This person was a dick because Steve originally got kind of up on him a little bit to say like, hey, you're doing fucking 20.
Oh, so you filled his mirror up.
And then they like went to 18. And then
because
stayed
Steve
there.
filled his mirror up.
Yeah.
So then it was like, I can do this longer than you can.
But they did it for the whole, like, how far did they go? Berea? Like, where were we? We were like so far and they were still behind this motherfucker forever.
Then we tried the freeway and the traffic stopped dead.
Yeah, well, that's because a squid got smushed.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah, that's no good. So yes, Motorcycle National Bike Month. And on the screen, and our podcast viewers will be happy to know that they can now see our screen. So on the screen, we have Sergeant Sarah. So Sergeant Sarah is one of the police officers who is in the motor division of the Cleveland Metro Parks. And you'll see that the motorcycle she's sitting on is yet another Cleveland Moto provided awesome motorcycle.
Oh, she's on a bike.
Cute.
That's just
There's a bike in the picture.
There's a bike in the
There's
picture.
a bike in the picture.
That's a happy zero.
Oh, Sergeant Sarah is gorgeous, and she rides a Yamaha R6.
Wow.
So she
All
rides a
right.
Yamaha R6. She's a sergeant. Again, you fuck with her.
Look at that smirk, though. I got to give it to
with her at your own peril. No, she's super smart.
She may have made my heart flutter a little bit.
But look, what a representative, okay? If you're going to say, in honor of the Cleveland Metro Parks, again, this is the Metro Parks Police 100th goddamn anniversary, and they worked with First Energy to get themselves some, work with First Energy, right? Do you know what First Energy has?
Electricity.
Money.
Oh, that's
do you know why? Because they got caught trying, because Householder...
$6 billion.
Because Householder tried to buy elections and everything else and use this to give First Energy all kinds of influence in the state of Ohio. So guess what they're doing is they're giving back a little bit. So this is an opportunity. You know, Volkswagen got in a little trouble for some diesels, and they're building a level 2 and level 3 electric infrastructure. So, you know, you get caught putting your dick in the wrong person, you might have to pay some penance, right? So that's the same thing that's happening here. So First Energy, in fact, helped the Cleveland Metro Parks to buy 2 awesome Zero DSRs.
Man.
Yep. And so that's super, super cool.
I've been cuffed, thrown in the cars, and beat up, and none of the cops that have ever done that to me looked like that. I'm just saying. Over the years, I'd be much happier about.
Are you disappointed?
I'm very
kind of
disappointed.
Would you like a do-over?
Yes.
Starting riding through the Metro Parks every fucking week.
I was going to say, now he's going to start drinking and driving through the Metro Parks.
At 19 miles
And you know
an
what the
hour.
problem is? Sarah's not going to pull you over. It's going to
No.
be Gun.
Yeah, right.
Gun is going to pull you over.
I'm sure it can be arranged.
You're going to see the DSR and the lights and sirens behind you because there's the DSR right there.
Yeah.
You're going to see that bike in your rearview mirror.
Get
And you're going to be
excited.
like, it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to manscape. You're going to
Oh,
get all
yeah.
ready. Yeah.
Well, thankfully, I'm going to be cleaned up.
You'll be cleaned up. You'll be ready.
With the nice undies. I mean,
And Officer Gunn is going to walk up to your window and be like, why are you running so hard, boy?
You're not the right one.
It's gonna be like that scene in Super Troopers.
Wait.
I am going to flee and elude you until I see Sergeant Sarah in my rearview mirror. Yeah. So that's a real thing.
No.
So that's, I mean, but how cool is that? I mean, that's
that's
awesome.
cool.
And so, like they say, with more than 24,000 acres to protect across diverse terrain, these vehicles will be a valuable asset for our officers and patrol.
And Steve, you're pretty good at the range. So knowing how much battery they have and knowing they're only going 30 to 35, they'll get a lot of miles, right? Like 100.
Was that a DSR?
It's a DSR 14.4,
Oh, then no go.
but wait, guys, even better, it's got a power tank. So it carries an extra 3.6 on top of that. So turn your 14.4 kilowatt battery into an 18.0 battery.
That's why she's smiling.
210 miles of range.
Wow.
Yeah, 210 miles
Got
of
the
range.
power tank.
Yep, power tank. Got the power tank.
And I can't wait to buy it on Gov Deals. Because Metro Park sells on Gov Deals.
Oh, of course they do. Yeah. So, but
well,
that's
and then the Metro Parks has a lot of ups and downs, so regen a lot.
Right. That's
so
exactly it.
that's
And I feel like they've started to have more electric vehicles in their fleet. And they've got level 2 charging stations now there at the station. You know, it's not far from our shop at all. And if anybody does ever come into Cleveland, by God, you got to take a ride on the Metro Parks. It is one of the best motorcycle roads in America, except for the fact that it's 30 miles per hour. So make sure you get good and fucking buzzed. Like, you better have someone what Kromke's smoking before you go out there, because I can tell you when I'm medicated.
Yeah.
When I'm medicated, I feel like I'm going really, really fast when I'm not going really, really fast. And that's the perfect thing because, you get older, your crashes hurt harder, so it's better to go slower. So, yeah, super. Rock on. Well done, guys. So, fun stuff. We were talking about those Benellis, right? Mm-hmm. We were talking about Benellis, and we were talking about Benelli 502X. And you guys, who in this room has put together an SSR? Anyone in this room put together an SSR? I bet you guys didn't know this.
Steve, put your hand down.
You still have shit to do on your bike, though.
I almost put one together. Still working on it.
1 star.
Yeah. So there's that.
I can tell you right now that mine has more mileage than anybody's.
Yep, there you go.
True.
So here's an
Because
interesting
everybody
thing.
rides it at the plant.
Everyone, it's yours is the town bike,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
The town pump.
The town pump. What I bet you guys didn't know when you were preparing for the SSR build-off,
Yeah.
I bet you guys didn't know that right on their website, that is a build guide, setup and prep guide for every product SSR imports.
I did know that.
Well, that was cheating if we did that. Like Nick mentioned that he even watched a couple. Well, no, he started watching one video and then he stopped himself because it was kind of
SSR has gone to the trouble of putting together, and I'm not joking one bit when I tell you that SSR has put together build guides, setup instructions that would make climber envious, that would make Haynes very fucking impressed. When I built this 502X, I put this thing together. I turned the lights down low. I made sure the door was double locked. I put on some nice postmodern jukebox in the background. I got intimate with the bike. And what I did that I thought was so fucking cool is it literally gives you the hardware layout. So it gives you everything. It tells you the torque specs of every nut, bolt, and screw in the bike. Okay.
Was that front caliper like 1,000 foot-pounds?
Yeah, it was 23 elephant foot-pounds. So if you take a look, it actually gives you, it starts with a crate.
Yeah.
So like if you're an idiot and the bike shows up at your shop in a crate, it literally gives you a step-by-step. It's created in a recyclable metal crate with a cardboard cover, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right?
That's pretty cool.
It's really fucking cool.
With color pictures, not even like black and white blown out.
It tells you exactly in what order to take the crate apart. Okay, which is pretty fucking cool. That's cool. How about this? It tells you all the boxes that come with the bike. So you can literally lay out what's in every single box and what should be there. And if you're missing any of these items, guess what? Don't continue, right? So how cool is that? Cut and remove the remaining zip ties. Then how about that for a layout? Anybody seen one of those lately? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's exactly the way I laid it out on the floor here in my shop. I laid everything out, made sure it was all there. Then it gives you part numbers for everything. So in case you're missing a handlebar end, you know the part number. It's right there.
The bomb of the whole thing, yeah.
What if it tells you what step that is? It tells you it's step number 15 to put the battery strap on. Okay, not bad. Did somebody say strap on? How about this? This shit makes IKEA look fucking shitty. Yeah. Look at that layout. And I did it just like this because I wanted to prove that it could be done and how it would work. Because we are somewhat new to Benelli. We wanted to know how this was going to go. So we printed this out and I literally did it step by step. And what I can tell you is it's fucking genius. And at the bottom of every page, there's the torque specs. So there's the torque specs for every goddamn thing. I am going to tell you, I have prepped Triumph motorcycles. I've prepped Ducati motorcycles. I've prepped Moto Guzzi motorcycles. I've prepped Honda motorcycles that were all still brand new in the crate. And not one of them have I found anything like this.
Well, and you know what's interesting? On the first page that you showed, so like this is obviously, you're getting into $6,000-$7,000 bikes with the one that you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
But they had it for the $899 bike and the $900.
They have it for the moped.
Yeah, that's impressive. Like
Yeah.
they, yeah.
Yeah, and what I can tell you is very interesting is like the battery goes in sideways, right? So the battery goes in sideways. It specifically tells you the technique for getting the battery in sideways and why it has to be in sideways. It tells you the right way to remove your starter solenoid and to remove your fuse brick so that the battery can go in and then you attach those items later. It's very clever. It's very fucking smart. I have to give them credit for it. There are items in the packing material that it literally tells you don't take this part off until you get to step 17.
Right.
Oh, that's fucking genius. That saves me a bunch of time. So if I would have taken this shit off in step 1, which is when I would have thought I would have done it, the whole back end would have been flopping all over the place.
And that's the thing. Don't you think that this probably saves them enough money of having to replace shit when guys fuck it up from doing stuff that it was worthwhile doing?
Why doesn't every single manufacturer make this thing? Because yes, this took them some time. They had to take one of the bikes. They had to get a photographer. They had to work with a mechanic and tell them where to point and what pictures to take. And they obviously didn't translate this from Chinese.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, but SSR is an American.
It is.
They're Americans, so they understand the way we think.
And the thing is like you're absolutely right. Like I've seen some like the pit bike guys that try to do it themselves, and it's cell phone pictures and it looks like shit.
Yep.
These are all lit. Like each one of those pictures is
very
like there's
well
a flash.
lit.
It's lit. Like you can see exactly what's going on.
I'm very impressed by this. It tells you the right way to check the chain tension. It tells you the right way to check the coolant level. It really does a hell of a job. And
we might want to read that chain tension.
Chain tension one?
Yeah,
we can do that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep.
So yeah. And then what's nice too is they give you a form that you can print out that is the actual like 97-point PDI checklist. Huh? So in case you hired, Party Marty, he can get the thing put together right and check all the boxes, So I was very impressed by that. Very fucking impressed. Again, does it sound like we're sucking on SSR's dick at this point? We're not. We're out riding their bikes and stuff, but I found this resource to be extremely helpful because we get people who call here all the time that have bought things and are like, hey, do you know how to put this thing together? Well, what the fuck, dude? You bought it. You bought it. You don't know how to put it together. Don't say you're going to build it yourself if you don't know how to build it yourself. And this happens every day.
Maybe the honest answer, too, is no, I don't know how to put it together because I've never put one of those together.
Yeah.
I sure as hell can probably figure out how to put it together.
Oh, a guy was like...
But so could you.
Yeah. Can you tell me how to put together my Rever Pit Monster 200? And I was like, I don't even know what a Rever Pit Monster 200 is. It might be a shaver. It could be. It's a pit monster. Okay, but another thing that people always want to say is a lot of people know specifications. Hey, John, how much oil do I use in that thing? Well, hold on.
1.2 liters.
Right, exactly. Look at the chart up on the screen. Do you know what they did for every single fucking bike they sell? Every bike they sell.
Oh, they break it down.
They break it down.
Yeah.
They tell you how many quarts of oil it takes. They tell you your chain slack. Okay. They give you spark plug, what spark plug you need. They give you your valve specs right there, right? They give you your fork oil, how much, what the volume of fork oil is. They tell you who makes the engine, right? What company the engine came from. That gives you the chain and sprocket. That's something that comes in handy. It's a 420 chain. Do you know that's at 102 links? That's pretty cool. Your front sprocket's a 14, your back sprocket's a 37.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's pretty badass.
I was trying to silence my phone.
How about this? How about 85 main jet? How about a 38 pilot jet?
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's pretty fucking cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really cool. Tire pressures. Yeah, no shit. Front tire size, back tire size. This is all available to everybody. And it's not just available for one bike. It's available for every fucking bike they sell.
Yeah, because that's like 7 different Google sessions trying to find out that information.
Right. If I want to find out, oh man, TRK 502X, Leoncino, what fucking chain is on a Leoncino? It's right there.
And usually you only get like 420, 425. You don't get the links.
No, you got to go and count the links.
Because a lot of places...
Have you ever counted links on a chain?
Right.
And have you ever had confidence?
Well, not only that...
No, I've always done like, oh shit, was that 116 or 115? Do I count the beginning or the end?
But not only that, like you can order... it's better to order 104 if you need 104 because then they cut it.
Yes.
And then if they fuck it up, they fix it and they still send you one thing. When you're at home and you fuck it up because you miscounted once and now it's too short...
Am I counting pins or am I counting links?
Right.
I lose track.
5 master links.
Because a link, I mean, you got a male, you got a female. Like,
Right.
a link is technically like...
A link is male and female, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is it. So if I know I want to order a new chain for my TNT 135, I know it's a 428. I know it's 116 links. I know I got a 15 tooth on the front and a 36 tooth on the back. Didn't have to count anything. Didn't have to look shit up. It's all right here.
So they just have some summer intern put all that shit together.
I don't fucking know, dude. I
right.
don't care.
All right, Phil, go on in there, sit down,
Right.
fill all this shit out for us.
We got 42 bikes back there. Don't leave a single block unfilled,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's great because every
Got
single
all summer to do it.
Every single one of these things is a question somebody has called me. I can tell you every single thing that's on here. I pick up the phone 120 times on an average workday. About 100 of those calls are something that I know is in an owner's manual, right? And I usually say, well, there's a little bit of RTFM there. And they go, I don't have any RTFM. I've got a 125cc fling poo. And I'm like, God damn it. But they want to know what spark plug that piece of shit uses.
Read the fucking
read the
manual.
fucking manual. Yeah, hold on. You know what? I'll tell you what. I want you to go on Google and I want you to look up part number. We can't get it for you, but I think it's part number ID 10T. Yeah, that's probably it. I think if you find part number ID 10T on Google, I think that's what you need. Click. But look, if I don't sell the thing you're asking a question about, and I don't have an owner's manual for the thing you're asking a question about, why would you think that I would fucking know? Right. It's just it.
Your reputation precedes.
It does. It does. The other day I quoted somebody on a spark plug for their Rascal scooter. I said, your problem is clearly the spark plug.
Right.
You need an NGK B7 ES.
What kind of oil? This anything but olive oil.
Olive oil.
That's the only thing
I
that won't
recommend a
work.
nice virgin olive oil. A nice quadruple virgin olive oil, in fact. That'll get that thing moving right along. So I thought that was super badass that a company took the time to put every fucking spec for everything they sell. And it's not the bullshit stuff that we know they lie about, like seat height and weight and all that other crap. Because that's all a lie anyway. But this is real stuff that people could use every single goddamn day. I think it's great. Like, I now know that there's 3.2 liters of oil in a TRK, right? That's cool. There ain't nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, that's badass. So I dig that. And for John, we also know that the chain slack, how much chain slack there's supposed to be? Yep, it says it right there, 10 to 20.
McElfreshes.
2 McElfreshes, that's 20 millimeters? That's so sad.
But if you use the lawnmower 4.0,
So that's
it looks like 6.
You're losing those inches in the rough.
Or in other words, four Hofferts.
Once you get the bird out of the nest, it looks a little bigger. So.
Yeah, that's true. That house would sure look bigger if you trim the hedges.
That's right.
Yeah. But I'm obviously a big fucking fan of that shit. It's more power to him. So.
I was more talking about the slack value.
Oh, the slack. Yeah, okay, I get it. No, very nice.
Oh my God! If we're talking about slack, holy shit! Sorry, didn't mean to wake you up, dude.
I'll let you get back to sleep here at any moment.
I still like when we went to visit in his office. He's like working on 2 motorcycles in his office, like in the room. There's like bikes torn apart.
Again, that is just job security.
Yeah, right.
That's really what it is. Because anybody who goes in is going to be like, I think we should fire him. And everybody's gonna be like, no. He wouldn't be that confident. If there was anything we could fire him for, he wouldn't be that confident.
If there was ever going to be an insurrection at a fucking sewage treatment plant, it'd be him leaving.
Look at that. The entire city of Oberlin can't shit. Well, they can shit. It just won't go anywhere.
No, the one thing they did try to fire me for, though, is the chickens in my office.
What?
Chickens?
Wait a second.
I was raising a bunch of chickens. So I incubated these chickens in my office, and I had all these chickens in my office because, when they're little, you can't just leave them outside.
Okay. All right.
So I was raising all these chickens in my office.
All right.
And
Free range?
Yeah, they were free range.
Free range in your office.
Let me guess, they're unsanitary.
Yeah, in the sewage plant, yeah. Nice one, Kromke.
No, so then they tried to get me for that, and I said, and my logic is, the water plant guy's got a Golden Globe and a credenza, and I have chickens and motorcycles.
Oh.
So if I can decorate my office with live chickens and motorcycles, if he can decorate his office with Golden Globes and credenzas.
There you go.
And they said, sounds good to me.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to have to let that go. These are decorative chickens. Did you know these are ornamental chickens? Yeah.
They're my lunch in 3 weeks.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Really. It's breakfast for the next week.
Yeah.
2 eggs every morning.
I like my
And
shit
then
really fresh.
And then a chicken
You
dinner.
didn't give me a fridge.
Yeah.
I had to have light stock.
They could find somebody that can do Skadle like I can do, then they could get rid of me.
Yeah, they could fuck you off. So Chris Franklin, one of our Patreon subscribers, says, "Hey, any more live Twitch streams planned?"
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah, I've been
that we
asked
don't,
about it, yeah.
because I mean,
we can do it.
we can do it. We have the technology. You know, we could do it. We could have that going, and we could talk to them like they were here. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we could. I have a camera or two I can make into a webcam kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just more to set up and more to bring. And it's just
I was going to
Jesus
say
Christ.
it really is. The anybody want to hear a really, 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 really long?
We should, if Patreon gets to a certain amount where we can hire an intern.
That'll never fucking
Then
happen.
we can do
never.
live Twitch.
We couldn't find somebody to load our ammunition for us at the range.
Nope.
We tried like hell to pay good money to have an ammo magazine girl.
Yep.
Just give her a pair of mechanics gloves and let her load magazines so that we would be able to shoot more. Yeah. But now the cost of ammo's gone up so much, it'd be cheaper to buy the girl. We could just shoot the girls downrange.
Nothing wrong with that, though.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's the
it.
same with wood. And somebody took a picture of this guy with 2 sheets of
Yeah.
plywood in the back of his
Yeah.
pickup truck. And he's like, look at this guy showing off his wealth.
Yeah, you
'Cause
see,
wood is-
they found a $1 million shipment of 2x4s hidden inside bales of cocaine.
So,
They were showing all those, the train station, it's 3/8 of a mile long, stacked to like 4 stories high with just lumber. They're just stockpiling the lumber.
Okay.
And then on YouTube, they had the guy at the mill, like, I don't know, there's like 5 or 6 mills that make wood.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're at full production.
Right,
And
exactly.
he showed all this wood. He's like, in 12 hours, we're going to process all this wood.
Yeah.
He said, and he showed all the invoices, and he said that we're making the exact same amount of money that our mill is making the exact same amount of money that it was before this whole thing. It's like the middle guy, the guys who are selling the lumber are the ones that are ripping everybody off.
We have somebody here in the shop who works part-time, who also works at Lowe's and does see the invoices. And I can tell you that Lowe's is not paying any more for a sheet of plywood today than they were paying 6 months ago. And the people that grow the trees, you can watch many YouTube videos where people who grow that lumber and have these forests that are professionally sustainable and build lumber. They're telling you that they're like, look, we aren't getting any more money for our trees. Like, we're still providing the same trees, the same prices we were 2 years ago. So the profiteering is on the corporate level.
Well, there is a worldwide chip shortage, though.
Yes. Worldwide chip shortage. Yes, exactly.
different chips.
So on that, Matt Brewer, you guys might want to settle in for this.
Oh, boy.
Matt Brewer writes, "Cheers, Cleveland Moto Podcast. You don't have to read this aloud if you don't want. I am rambling.
Game on.
Okay, for the record, if you want to make sure your shit gets read on the air,
Ask us
be
not
like,
to.
this is something I find very sensitive
Challenge
and it's important to me, and I'd
accepted.
really like to have your private views on this. Yes, we'll put it on a t-shirt.
Call Rand.
Exactly. Having a bit of trouble here. First, let me say that I know just a blonde one above fuck all. Hopefully that's a redeeming quality and that I can recognize and admit my shortcomings while seeking help from the gurus. Not gurus. Wild stabs at best. Okay, everything I know about bikes I've learned from my former 1%er typical Harley guy father.
Ooh.
YouTube, my many mistakes, and your fucking podcast over the last 2 years. Well, we've been doing this for 11 years, so step the fuck up your game. All right. You got a lot of back episodes to find. Also, fully recognizing that you've covered all this before, but it's not working like it should because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Please allow me to share my issue. You guys ready?
Okay. Cool.
My penis is sorry. All right,
Different
hold on.
email.
So I bought a running 1997 Triumph Adventure Thunderbird. Hey, we know people that have had those bikes, right? It's a 2-cylinder motorcycle. It's a Thunderbird Adventure. Oh, that's kind of a weird mix, right? Okay, so but in the 90s, they were putting that twin motor into anything. You can wake him up any time you like. I did have a 92 Magna.
No, let him go to sleep. We got fucking lawnmowers.
Right, exactly. Oh shit! I did have a 92 Magna, but I didn't know how hard it was to deal with a bunk title, and it sat for 4 years before I eventually sold it. So he did not get a title for his fucking Magna. Oh boy, pointed at the camera. The Triumph was ridden to my house by the previous owner, but sat for about a month while I waited to get my endorsement. This was around July of 2020. Got all legal, got some gear, got some paycheck, and off I fucked towards all the fun I'd be having and been wanting to have for years. Stall. Start it up. Stall. Start it again. Stall. I'm pissed. The dream isn't working out like I thought. Why does it need so much fucking throttle just to keep it alive when I take off from a stop sign? It's idling like shit. So much so, in fact, that I got to have several clincher moments as my front tire left the earth exuberantly, baby wheelie, just trying to pull away from a stop sign. After some internet research and some phone calls with Pops, we decided that it needed to have the carbs cleaned. Mm-hmm. They always need to have the carbs cleaned. Mm-hmm. That should be our next fucking t-shirt.
Yeah,
Did you clean the carbs? Right? Mix was off, so I'd have to shove it off the line with handfuls of throttle. So I ordered the kits, stripped it all down. Everything's clean, new jets, new rubbers. By this point, it's winter in the south, so I decided to park it and do some work. Yeah, because it was probably like 52 degrees out.
Yeah, you poor guy.
Yeah, you poor guy.
Well,
okay.
buy 2 more kits because you're going to have to rebuild them in the spring.
I changed the chain and sprockets, overhauled the brakes, new tires, oil change, etc. All the stuff that I had no idea whether it's been done or not since it left the factory in 97. So here it is spring and I've got everything back together. My front brakes absolutely will not bleed right. I've newly replaced all the interiors of the master cylinder and the caliper. New rubber, braided lines, banjo bolts. I've worked on them for hours. I tried using a pump too. The fluid is coming down. I'm just not getting any pressure building up in my brake lever. It's totally slack and it's driving me nuts. Also, I'm chasing the hell out of an air-fuel mixture problem in the carbs. I have to take the whole triple carb assembly. It's a triple. Mm-hmm. This is a 3-cylinder motorcycle. I have to take the entire triple carb assembly all the way out to adjust the pilot screw because a fucking Chinese toddler couldn't fit a hand in there, and the $50 tool that I bought online is dog shit of fucking course. Those are the symptoms, but the biggest problem is that I need a fucking rabbi, a guru, somebody that knows their asshole from their elbow that can fucking help me with advice. There aren't many shops in Memphis at all. The couple I've called won't touch it. My dad isn't in town, and bless the fucker, he tries. He always ends up saying some shit like, I don't know anything about British bikes, though. Well, don't worry, because it's barely a British bike. I really don't want anyone else doing it anyway. I just need some more detailed info. And yes, I've YouTubed and Googled the holy fuck out of everything. Bought the original factory service manual and a Haynes manual. The internet is giving me an insane amount of directionless information, and it's like trying to drink from a fire hose. I found 3 guys to show me how to build dry vacuum gauges for carb sinking, but not one fucker could tell me how many turns out I should start with my pilot screw. Triumph forums are just online brothels for pervy old men with pod filter fetishes.
I like
wow,
that.
I love this.
That was good.
Hold on, we're not done yet. I've rambled on forever. I'm good at it, but also good and pissed at this damn thing. I've had so much love for it, but I'm frustrated and I've come about an inch from kicking the bitch off the jack about 3 times. But then I'd have to fix some more shit. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to read through all this bullshit, and thanks in advance for any help you can offer. Longtime listener and avoided pulling a Rand until just now. He wrote that. By the way, podcast sounds great now. I'm current, but I'm also back in the 100s as well, kind of listening to both at the same time, while the burping and chewing was still absolutely madness. And then he says, thank God you fuckers got headphones. Thank you, Matt from Memphis. Okay.
First thing that jumped out to me, because he mentioned he did all the brake stuff, right?
Yep.
But did he get a new gasket for the actual master cylinder at the top?
Yeah.
That was the first thing that kind of hit my mind. Because
that
won't build.
Cause it to.
It won't pressurize. If it has a leak in the top of the gasket, how's it going to push any air down?
You mean the gasket
for the top can?
Yeah, it's not going to. It'll.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's got that expandable diet.
That's what I'm saying. If the diaphragm's cracked or broken or anything like that, it's not going to let you build pressure.
Yes, it will.
How?
You can have it sitting here in your hand with the whole lid off. You put some fluid in it, and you can pump it with your hand and hold your finger over it and pump the lever.
It'll go down, but it's not going to get rid of all the little bubbles.
Well, it'll build pressure.
Well, yeah.
As you said, it wouldn't.
Yeah, you're right.
Manscaper.
I gotta tell you this. Since we did last week's episode where we totally refuted everything that Liza and the Misfits said except for the Honda Goldwing and
the Vespa.
Yeah, their top 10 list.
Yeah.
Since we
Rally.
did that, everybody around the table has gotten a little more coarse, like a little more like, yeah, because you're wrong.
Yeah.
A little edgy.
So apparently we've greenlit edginess. Like that's been like, oh shit, what the fuck, man? It's okay. So yeah, the bike in question, it's a Triumph Thunderbird. It's what they Thunderbird Classic, Thunderbird Sport, but just with a Harley Davidson Sportster back fender. Why do people keep doing that? Look at that fucking bike, man. Why do people feel the need to put that goddamn kickflip bullshit? I mean, that's just fucking stupid, man. Every motorcycle in the world is going to be like, okay, well, we got this on the front end. What do you got? We got an inline 4-cylinder. That's great. We got an inline 6-cylinder. That's great. No problem. What are you going to do? You're going to do some cool brakes or something? Yeah, we do spoke wheels. Oh, you're doing spoke wheels? Yeah, I'm going to do spoke wheels. Oh, you got to put a flipped up tail on it. What the shit, man? When did that become mandatory? Just because something's got webbed feet doesn't mean it automatically has to be a duck. It could be a platypus. It could be any number of things. It doesn't just have to be a duck if you start with webbed feet. That flipped up bullshit. My Super Magna's got the same thing on the back of it. I hate it. Like, what part of that? Was that just somebody saw a KZ1000 once and went, that's a good idea. We should stick with it forever.
Everything.
For everything. Yeah. What do we got on the back? Is the bike could it maybe be called a cruiser? Kick flip on the tail. Yeah. Sure, why not? But that's what it is. It's a triple, so he's right. You can't get into the goddamn idle adjustment screws, a motherfucker.
And what's the deal with sinking the carbs, though?
Same as any other, right?
He's a million miles away from that right now. I hate to say it. I mean, he's not there. I mean,
would you like me to speak to his issues?
Please, John. I think we all would like to have you speak to his issues.
On your brake issue, I'd start right from the top with the master cylinder, and like I said, take it off, dump the fluid out of it. You might not necessarily need to take it all apart and take the plunger out, but definitely make sure the two tiny little holes in the bottom of the master cylinder are free and clear. Pour a little bit of brake fluid in it. Leave the lever on it. You can leave the cap off of it, and you can just bleed it right there. Hold your thumb over the hole and bleed it right there, and make sure it'll go. Psh, psh. Eventually it should bleed up, and you should be able to squirt brake fluid out that way. And then I would just do that and chase it all the way down to your caliper. So put the banjo on. Another thing is leave your banjos and stuff loose. That'll let some air escape, and sometimes so it's basically you're just bleeding it through each fitting. And eventually it'll work out. You will get it bled if you do that. It just it's counterintuitive, but sometimes loosening your banjos and just letting it flood out and chase all the air out, and then tighten them all back up and then pump it, and it'll come back.
It's a little messy, but
I will call your attention to the sex crime that is on the screen right now of this motorcycle. What the actual shit? What happened to the back end of that motorcycle? What the fuck happened? That is like, if you look at the last 18 inches of that bike, that could be 175 different bikes.
Yeah.
There is just, and like the middle of the bike is great. Whoever put the high riser handlebars on it and then the single front disc on a 17-inch rim, like there's a lot of hate crimes going on in that motorcycle. It's just, yeah, it's not, man, that back end is just offensive. God, that's so fucking evil.
Let me speak to the carburetors.
Yep.
Let me speak to the carburetors. I don't know what type of rebuild kit you bought. I wouldn't use any of the jets or any of the brass out of any rebuild kit. I would keep all of your old original brass, your jets and all that stuff. Probably even your float needles, unless there's a rubber tip type, and then you might want to replace those. But take a good look too you're probably going to have them apart again. Mm-hmm. Just hold them up sideways and do the old thing and see how use the floats as a pendulum. Your needles should be seating at about 3 to 4 degrees when you tip them this way, and make sure they're all in the line. You might want to also just do a little quick, once you put them together, flood them on the bench and make sure nothing's overflowing or anything like that. I will not hang a carb until I've literally bench tested it. I'm going to take the thing, and I don't care if I put it in my fucking vise. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to run fluid through it, and I'm going to diddle the fucking bowl. And I'll diddle the bowl and make sure that it's producing. Exactly. And the other thing that I can do is I can use my air compressor and I can run air through it because these are CV carbs. So they're CV carbs. I can run air just on my regular air compressor line and my blowgun, and I can run air through it. And what do I see? I see fluid coming through the jets. So I can sit there and mechanically operate the throttle all I want, but remember, these are vacuum-operated carbs. So if I don't simulate a ton of air pressure, a ton of airflow going through it, those diaphragms won't raise. And if the diaphragms raise and I see moisture coming out, what do I got?
I got flow. I got fluid coming through. I have pressure. It's a decent thing. These are the rubber tip needles. If anybody wants to kind of get a better idea what these carb kits look like, K&L makes a decent kit for these. We do a lot of business with K&L. So the K&L kits for these, but the biggest devil on these things is if you get that fucking float bowl gasket, it can get gas on it one time. And that one time it gets gas on it, it better be literally when you're putting it together. Because once it gets permeated with gas.
Well, gas is one thing.
Right.
Carb cleaner is no fucking go.
That thing will turn into a piece of linguine.
They just expand.
Yeah.
They swell up.
It is the worst thing. So when you put it together dry. I literally put one little smoosh of grease into the panel just to give that natural rubber O-ring something to think about. And I'll put a little grease in there, and that holds the O-ring in place when I'm putting the bowl back on, so it doesn't pinch or get over. You see on these carburetor kits, there's like 6 places that fucking O-ring, because it's not an O-ring. Look at that thing. It looks like a fucking subway map. It's not an O-ring by a million years. It's an XO oval corner 90-degree ring. So you put that thing, use some grease to hold it where it should be, put it on, put it together dry, and then let the gas go into it. Because if you get that fucker, you're right, any carburetor cleaner at all, and that thing becomes useless, throw it in the trash.
It's amazing. So like a lot of my painting stuff, I bought a cheap airbrush. I was looking for a bigger airbrush, whatever, and it's not necessarily an automotive one. It's just an airbrush, right?
Right.
Most of them don't have a lot of O-rings, but this one did. And it's like it has like a bigger tank on the top. So I used it to paint some stuff, and then I was cleaning it in lacquer thinner or whatever. And I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, where did this come from? And this O-ring was like this fucking big. And I'm like, where did this thing come from? And I looked and it used to be that big. Like it literally swelled up like 50 times the size of itself, like in 2 seconds.
I hate to be the guy, but I know that you put these carbs together, and I know that you did all that work, and it was heavy duty. And we know we've had the carbs off of these bikes before. It's a bitch and a half getting them into the air handlers. Like these carbs suck to put on.
I will speak
They're
to your air fuel mixture screws and accessing them and everything.
Yep.
They should probably, I think those ones are 2 1/4.
I think
could
they are
be
2
wrong.
1/4. Yep.
So you would screw them all the way in till they gently seat.
Yep.
Not too hard, because those might also be the ones that have the extra fine little tip that if you screw it in too hard, and then when you go to back it off, it'll just break off. And then that's a ruined carburetor. But screw them until you just gently feel them seat, and then back them out. I believe it's 2 1/4. You should be able to look that up somewhere.
That's look-upable.
But it's either 2 1/4 or 1 1/2.
I found a
turns
YouTube
out.
video for it.
That's what I remember. 1.5 for cars.
Well, a lot of them are 1 1/2.
most of them are 1.5.
Right.
Right?
Most of them are 1
Make it
1/2.
1 3/4 and
Well, you can do that.
Yeah.
As to balancing your carbs, you can bench balance them pretty easily by you'll have your rack of carbs, you'll turn your idle adjustment screw up so it opens your butterflies a little bit. You take any drill bit, like a 1/8 or whatever, and you put it in there and you turn it down till it touches in one carburetor.
Right.
And then you stick it in the other ones.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
And make sure that you're just using that drill bit as a feeler gauge to make sure that each one of those butterflies is exactly the same.
pretty cool.
If you've done that, the bike should run great.
Right.
I mean, it should pretty much be synced because each one of the butterflies is controlling
moving
the
the same.
flow,
Yeah.
and they're exactly the same. So
Oh, that's a good idea. I never thought of
I
that.
think the biggest thing you said though is save the brass that was in
yes,
the original car, because I've never had any luck
With the kids.
buying a rebuild kit and putting the brass in. I mean, it always messes something.
if you at the very least compare them, because they could say the same number, but you look them up. I've seen where you can. It's the same number, but you hold them side by side, and you're like, "There's no way that's the same size jet."
Or the taper. I mean, just the taper, and then the jet holder.
Right.
Isn't
Or the
same.
metering needle, the
Right.
way it fits into the emulsifying
And
tube.
generally speaking, so there's a rule of thumb that I go by. If you're using a vacuum carb, a CV carb, generally it's 1.5 turns out. If you're using a Mikuni, it's generally 2 turns out. A good handy tip is on modern motorcycles, if you need a D tool. So a D tool is this thing that basically the end of it, when you look at the end of it, it looks like the letter D. It's what you use they use it for security to keep people with screwdrivers from making air fuel adjustments. And so it's just a little tool they get to sell you. I've got a bunch of them over in the drawer, and it's just literally, it's like a screwdriver. You hold it in your fingers, and it's just for adjusting air fuel screws.
And keep in mind, some carburetors come with no access to that at all.
Absolutely.
Where it is cast over.
Drill
that
it
you
out,
have to actually drill to get to the screw, that they've bunged it.
Yep. And so with the D tools, my rule of thumb is if I'm working on a carburetor and I see that it has a D tool for the air fuel mixture screw, my brain automatically goes, okay, that's 1.5 turns out. So the D tool equals 1.5. If it's a regular screw, then if it's a Mikuni carb, I know 2 turns for that. And if it's a Vespa, then we do 1.5 turns out for that. Unless it's a Stella, in which case it's fine threads. Modern like Stellas and stuff and LMLs, they use 3 turns out because it's the pitch of the threads is twice as.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
It's fine pitch. Exactly. Yep. Steve.
So with the D tools too, he was saying he has problems accessing, D tool or screwdriver or whatever.
Yeah.
What I bought was one with a flexible shaft.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you could weave that in, and you could put whatever tip you want on that tool. So
Absolutely.
it could be a D tool, it could be a screwdriver, it could be whatever.
Anything you want.
So you could make an adjustment by weaving it through and into the position that you need it. And those are well worth the money.
Yeah. And
one thing that they sell for dirt bikes is extended mixture screws.
Yes.
So like where you normally have to get a screwdriver up there, it's extended so it actually comes down and you can just kind of grab it with your finger. And
I had that on my
pretty cool.
Husky that I sold to Phil. It was like a little red guy. It was nice.
Yeah, a long range adjustment screw.
Yep. But you know what's funny? A lot of the Chinese bikes that are coming now, so they do that. They bung off the air fuel mixture thing.
Yeah.
And like my Grim, it's supposed to be 1.5 out. It was a quarter out. Yeah. And so when I got it, it ran like shit. So, I mean, all these people are buying these for first bikes, and they're not even... I mean, it's not hard to set that thing at 1.5 turns out.
It was detuned.
It was detuned for
medium range.
Tuned for mid range. So these things are a fucking godsend. I have this in the straight ahead version. I also have it in the 90-degree version. So what these things are great for is there's literally a screwdriver that goes up the middle, okay? And then with this, you have this lever that gives you the ability to hang on to it or turn it or also count your turns. So that is a very, very handy tool to have around. And I have them this way, which is just straight on, but I also have them with a 90 degree. So you can reach in there and do them that way. That's sort of the home gamer kind of thing. Like that's for the people that are like, hey, I can do this. I have a tool. This is for the, fuck you. This is for the, we're not asking anymore. This has in there, we've got all the different D tools, all the different bits. So this is that set. And then we got this bad motherfucker, which is the Motion Pro 90-degree quarter-inch hex driver. And what this does is it literally takes your work and puts your work anywhere you want.
That's cool.
Okay?
Yeah, that's really cool.
So isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So I'll pass this around so the class can see it. But what's really cool about it is on the bottom of the handle, you can index it. And so you can literally see what 1/8 of a turn is, what 1/4 of a turn is, what 3/4 of a turn is, what a full turn is, all by just turning that. And that's turning
cheating.
the end. Dude, this is so cheating. So I'll pass this around so the group can enjoy it.
That's pretty cool.
And that's the Motion Pro 90-degree.
Also, if you have an itch that's at least 3 or 4 inches in an orifice, you could probably hit it with that.
Right. Now, what I'm going to say about this is don't ever borrow one of these from a friend, right? This is not a cheap tool. This is something that, might be a prized tool for somebody. This is the right side of $100. To dealers, this is $72.99. But the cool thing about this, the reason I really like it is it goes into very, very hard to find places. I mean, it really can be used. But you can't break shit free with this. I mean, you can put 1/4-inch drive sockets on it. I do that all the time. It works. When you are like, why did they put a nut there where you can't possibly get to it? It's a blind turn. This works really well. But remember, you cannot, under any circumstances, break something free with this. Right. So this is just for making adjustments. This is just for kind of getting something hooked up. But if you don't have one of these dudes, for $73, if you're going to be dicking around with carburetors, you should have want to buy one of these. I mean, I know $73 is expensive for a tool. Also, not made in China, by the way.
So this is not Harbor Freight.
No, this is not Harbor Freight.
I don't dick around with carburetors. Right. I take them very seriously.
Exactly, right.
This is a tool that, like, if you have it in your garage and friends come over, you're always going to be like, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just that, too.
It is a tool. I heard Emma say one time that the idea behind having a good quality tool is that you can do the job in 10 minutes instead of an hour.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're getting paid $90 an hour, you're charging a customer $90 an hour, doing a job in 10 minutes rather than an hour, or even spending 15 minutes in your toolbox trying to find 3 tools to put together to reach the thing you need to reach.
Right.
When you have this, look, if I can do a set of carburetors 2 times with this thing, it pays for itself.
Yeah.
Right. So I like having good tools that have a specific job. And,
But this is definitely not a tool though. Like there are those tools like that you buy. Like I remember like a '69 Chevelle for the brakes had to have some wiggly little fucking like thing, and like you use it once every 4 years or something. This is like a tool you might not use it every day, but there's more than one use for this tool.
Yeah, I
mean?
I was working on some motorcycles in San Diego at Motorsport, and so I was working on some bikes that I was selling there, and I of course, what were they? They were all 70s Japanese bikes. They all had multiple carburetors, and the funny thing was, I couldn't find one of these in their shop because they're not a motorcycle shop; they're a scooter shop. So I was like, oh shit, and I don't keep one of these in my toolbox for obvious reasons. Okay, they don't make a shorty version of this, right?
It's like 9 feet long.
Exactly. Yeah, that's 14-foot Irish right there. So, but I bought one. So even though I own one already, I bought another one just because I knew that when I was working with Robot, that I was going to rebuilding, like for those bikes we had out there, we had 10 bikes, 4 carburetors each. I'm going to do fucking 40 carburetors. I'm going to buy one of these. So I bought one. So now I have one in my toolbox here and I have one in my toolbox at home.
Nice.
And these things are real time savers. So if you're going to do carburetors or a bunch of carburetors, hell shit, if you're going to do one carburetor and you got $75 to throw away, do it. Buy that fucking thing. It's cool.
If $75 gets your bike running perfect, it's well worth it.
Oh, and I'll tell you the time that it saves being able to literally get in there. The 2 things that I can recommend to everybody who works on bikes. 1, get yourself a headlight. Get a lamp that you can wear on your fucking head that is brighter than fucking God.
Dude, I just saw the best. This is crazy. So like it's a DIY hack, and you can get it from Thingiverse. I think I'm going to print some and bring them to you guys.
Yeah.
So headlights, like when you're working on a car, everybody puts one little light right here, and it's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
These guys were like, that's very unnatural.
They got the band. Yeah.
So now you take LED strips and you mount them and you put 3 white LED strips and it goes around your forehead to here.
Yeah.
And so there's light coming out everywhere. So no matter where you
look like a UFO.
You do, but they showed a dude working on a car.
Yeah.
And like wherever you look, it's perfectly lit up. It's awesome. And now with the LED, like the strips are like $4 for like 1,000. Like you can.
I always wanted the bite light, like it had a little rubber block on
used to have one,
it, so I could bite it.
Yeah.
You turn it on, you can just sit there and you can adjust it up and down wherever you want.
And the thing with the bite light was I had a bunch of those. I bought them because they were real cheap, and they just had one LED in them, and you throw it in your mouth. And actually, we were joking about Scooter West, Motorsport Scooters. They had a keychain that was like a little fake leather keychain that had a bite light in it. You could squeeze it and a little light would come on. And I got a couple of them. But for real, here's up on the board. Here you go.
That's like a commercial one. Yeah.
Well, that's the 180. I love it. 180. The 180 headlamp. So the 180 headlamp kit. This is from the usual scumbags.
It's the Geordie.
Look, it's the Geordie. Exactly. So there you go.
Yeah.
So there it is. So that thing exists. So there it is.
At work, the one guy bought us some of the. It looks like almost like the Bluetooth thing that goes around your neck.
Right.
But it's 2 lights that come out here.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's 2 separate ones, and they're USB rechargeable. It's pretty nice.
And my thing about the headlights, about lighting, is so I taught Steve. So Steve was like, he goes, Phil, he goes, the 2 things that he picked up from me is, one, of course, I always have a Gerber tool.
Fuck yeah.
And Steve just has like a leather pouch full of random tools on his belt, and he'll try to like jog across a parking lot, and he'll lose $40 worth of tools. Scissors for everything. Scissors are handy. When we go to the dinner with Steve's always like,
brings out the
he's doing
scissors.
portion control with scissors that he last cut like sewage pipe with.
He's cutting like cilantro and shit with his sisters. Like, yeah, I got this. Just cutting this for everybody.
It's fucking great. The dude's a rock star. Yeah. But so I turned him on that, and then I turned him on to the headlamps because I always have a headlamp when I'm working, and glasses. Because even if you don't have bad vision, having a set of cheaters costs $1. And if you have a pair of 1.5 or 2.0 cheaters and you're trying to read a jet or trying to rebuild a carb, I know you look stupid. You're sitting there hanging your stupid glasses off your face like you're 70 years old, you know? But if you're doing this and you are legit rebuilding something, all you care about is what's in your hands.
Right.
And if you can see it 50% closer and 50% more in focus, it makes for $1. For one fucking dollar. Even before my eyes went to shit, I had cheaters hanging on every toolbox. Yeah. Because, hey, Renee, can you do me a favor and tell me what jet this is? Because they print them with like angel's breath. That's a 108. Great. That's a 116. That's a drilled out 130. Fuck you. You don't drill out jets. You buy new ones. And if you do drill it out, take all the numbers off of it, you dick. Yeah. You know, the next thing, after you drill a jet out, when you're done punishing yourself for drilling a jet out, take that bitch over to the grinder and grind all the numbers off of it. Because if it's going to be a mystery jet, it should look like a mystery jet. Fucking hate drilled out jets. It's bullshit, man.
I love them.
John, I'm telling you, I have worked on more bikes where I've been like, that can't be the right jet. It says 128 on it. And I'm like, I know my Cooney and Kean use different systems for what a 128 is. It's not always a mathematical measurement. Sometimes it's like 1 is the universal 1 and then 2 is 2/10 of
I
the
didn't
first
drill
number.
it out if it was a 128.
No, it wasn't. No. But you've drilled out your share of 102s.
No. Usually the pilot jets. Is
Oh,
what I
the
drill.
pilots. Yeah. I might be guilty of that. That one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know it's got a 55 in it, but I really wish it was a 90. What's 90? This'll do. Yep. I've got a good set of pilot drills. I mean, I got a really good set of pilot drills I spent decent money on, but if you use them with anything other than the hand clamp brass thing that they come with, you're like, I'm going to put this in my tiniest, weakest drill, broken. Those are made of butterfly wings. Like those.
I always just put the jet in the drill.
In the drill. Yeah.
And then I hold my bit with a vice grips or something like that and just.
It is like doing the world's smallest lathe.
Yeah.
I'm just going to chuck this bitch up. Hold on, I got it. Because you're like, what is that measurement? It's not an 1/8 of an inch. No. It's not a 16th of an inch. No. It's literally like an Italian coarse one. Yeah. It is all it is. Yeah. There is nothing. It is so bad. All right. So that was a letter from our friend, Matt Brewer.
I hope that helped you, Matt.
Matt, I feel bad for you, dude.
I wish I was there. I'd give you any help I could.
John and I beat our head to death on a fucking Triumph Thunderbird Sport. And we can tell you that, one, anybody who tells you that's a British motorcycle, nope. That is not a British motorcycle. That is a Japanese motorcycle filtered through Britain. That's all that thing is, man. Like, that is a little Cosworth race car motor in the shape of a motorcycle. That's what that is. And it's a beautiful motor when it's working great.
It ran great when it left here.
God damn it, dude, run great when it left here. I would like to know the history, the post-us history of that bike. I'd like to know what it go on to be awesome forever.
Speaking of post-us history of bikes, the other day when Steve and I were trying to buy the Quad Runner, you remember the gentleman who bought his BMW?
Who bought Steve's BMW?
Steve's BMW.
Wait, the gentleman who was vertically challenged? I mean, crashed a bike a lot?
Yeah, well...
No, the guy that actually bought it.
Oh, the guy that actually bought it.
The next guy.
Yeah,
who had almost no motorcycle acumen whatsoever.
Exactly. Yep,
Yeah.
roger that.
And Steve was, I think if you'll recall, we talked about it on the podcast, kind of like, man, I really hope the guy doesn't crash and die and stuff like that.
Yeah. What happened?
Now we were going to look at that bike, and it appears that he came by with a set of arrow stitches.
He looked all outfitted, and he had a helmet on.
So he had a couple of grand to spend on Stitch.
He was coming the other way. And I'm like, Steve, that was your RT.
That was your bike.
The guy's still alive 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
And he's riding.
And
he
now
looks
he's a
like he's
BMW douchebag.
And
guy.
now he's bought his way into the BMW club.
Yeah.
So he's got the arrow stitch on. He's got the all.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's arrow stitch.
His
so,
whole
I don't
world
know.
is now Hefco Becker. Yeah.
But
wow, good for him.
He survived the learning curve.
Yeah.
So
all right, he survived long enough to buy really good gear. Rock on, man. That's fucking cool.
So I was happy. I felt like relieved that I didn't kill another victim.
another one.
No shit. Yet another rider.
Serial murder by selling bikes.
Hey, look.
I mean, you're right up there with crack dealers.
Hey, I've had a few of my customers not survive their motorcycle experience, which means as a result of meeting me, they died. So here's a thing. You guys can read it and read along with it because it's up on the board. When somebody has the name PHO, how do we pronounce that? Do we pronounce that like the food item? I mean, what do we do?
Oh.
Brandon Pho.
Brandon Pho. Okay. I just wanted to check, wanted to clarify. Decided finally to give you guys $10 after listening to every episode on Spotify.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
I also listened to every episode with headphones, which shows how much I enjoyed your content. The best sounding was when Janice Guy brought sausage to the podcast. The sound of John chomping on sausage coming into my ear holes was exquisite.
Wow.
This is so good.
That was prior headphones, so they didn't know.
Yeah.
Only I was the one that had to suffer through all that shit.
So you can classify this audio as ASMR then?
Yeah.
You know, the thing
that's
is,
another bonus.
even when he just test rode that, like just now for like 10 seconds ago when he simulated having meat in his mouth, even when he did that, the inside of my ear feels like it's been waxed. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't do it.
No.
I fucking hate that shit. All right. So anyway, on to the meat of the potatoes. I own a Honda Trail 125. Woo!
Sweet.
It is number 293.
Oh.
Yes, the VIN number thing is a thing that the CT 125 people do. I daily it and do some off-road riding with it. I have videos and pictures to share. You guys are still doing the phone number? Yes, we're still doing the phone number. I'll make sure that it gets sent to you. I am a millennial, so some of it's TikTok videos, of course. Yeah, and your head's been turned into a fucking teddy bear or some shit. Yeah, exactly. And now you're not riding a CT 110 or CT 125. You're riding a fucking unicorn. You're
eating ass. Eating ass.
Yeah, you're a millennial. You're always eating ass.
Yeah.
I stopped eating ass long enough to take this TikTok video. Yeah. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm a millennial, so some of it's TikTok videos, of course. I would also love to share the complaints people have about the CT 125.
Already?
The complaints that people have about the CT 125 that don't even own one. So can you imagine this? There are complaints about a thing that people don't actually own.
On the internet?
On the internet?
What?
No, you're fucking kidding me.
This
Have
is
you
news to
met
me.
Cameron Vanderhorst?
Oh my God. I'm sorry. No, that's not even Cam's jam. But I'm saying that, like, I have heard people tell me the reason they weren't buying bikes from me was something that they had heard on the internet. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, live your own goddamn life, first of all. Okay.
All those 3 stars are coming in.
That's right. Okay. Like most of you guys, I am bike curious. Oscar still smirks every time somebody says bike curious. Everyone else is like, yeah, whatever. And Oscar still goes. He's like, I love that Oscar still giggles every time somebody says bike curious.
After all these years.
After all these years, it's still Oscar still loves it. That's fucking great, man. How do you feel about a Janus? Oscar is the easiest audience ever. He's so good. Like most of you guys, I'm bike curious. I currently ride a 17 V-Strom 650. You're supposed to call that a V-Strom.
Yep.
There's rules. If you own a V-Strom, right? Just like if you have a BMW, you have to have an Aero Stitch or something that looks like an Aero Stitch. And if you ride a V-Strom, if it's a 1000, it's a V-Strom. If it's a 650, it's a V-Strom. Yeah.
And you also have to make fun of everybody that spent more money than you.
Oh, that's
because
right.
your bike is better or as good, if not better, than most of the other ones.
That's right. I get it. I currently ride a 17 V-Strom 650 that is all the ADV Starbucks, or is all the ADV Star Bucks. 21 Monkey that my wife rides once in a while. I started riding on a CRF 150F, which I put about 100 hours on, and then a CRF 250, which I've ridden about 150 hours on. I've also owned a Kawasaki Z125 Pro and a Dr. Z 400 Super-Moto. Keep up the good work, guys, especially thanks to Sleepy, who has made life significantly better for those of us listening with headphones. My only complaint is the lack of Janus jokes lately. No shit, he wrote that.
See?
That is his only complaint, is his lack of Janus jokes
He
lately.
spelled it wrong.
That's the joke.
Well, we won't have to be joking about it anymore because all of our Januses are going to be cleaned up with
They're
our
going to be cleaned
lawnmower.
up. You'll be able to see unobscured J9. So,
Jane,
yeah.
Thanks, Manscaping.
Hey! So, hey, wait, look at this. Chris Smith finally paid his membership to be a podcast member.
Oh my God.
Look at that. Look at that right there. Look at that. Isn't that incredible?
An A.
Nope, that's the other Chris Smith.
Oh.
There's two Chris Smiths.
another one?
Does he have
There's
all his
another
kids?
one. So here you go, guys. Damn you, Phil Waters. Damn you to heck. I'm the crackpot that drove 16 hours uphill one way. I'm sure this is geographically accurate. To pick up 5 dead dinosaur-fueled bundles of Chinesium Glee. A few days ago, my youngest nephew asked Granny when he was getting a bike. So, cuz I'm a sucker, an addict, an all-around good guy, I went to purchase a 125 and a 70cc SSR for the little guy. I went to my local Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe dealer to obtain some motorized permagrins. Ready to buy, I bounded into the showroom and said, I will take the orange one and that honky-ass motherfucker. Meaning white. Oh, and a set of training wheels, please. The kid on the floor handed me off to a pasty-faced guy with a neck beard. I guess that's redundant. I've never not seen the two together. He puts the numbers in front of me and I see a number... He puts the numbers in front of me and I see a number way on the wrong side of 3,000 doll hairs. $500 handling, $180 shipping, $360 administrative rim job, et cetera, et cetera.
I like this guy.
Needless to say, I respectfully told him to fornicate with his cover, and off I fucked.
Nice.
I know the margin is duck lip thin on these bastards, but tip first, not the shaft. Let me push back a little. Which is totally true, right? Anyway, long story longer, I need an auto 70cc, not red or green, and a 125 manual, not blue, black, or white. Way to be picky. Still crated would be fine, and I'll record that so you and the gang can get a kick out of watching me bouncing tools off the walls in mini sparks of Mandarin-induced rage. As always, great show. Chris Smith, no relation. The previous rambling was also to say thank you for making an honest deal and an easy, no bullshit buying experience. Nice. So for people who listen to the podcast, Chris Smith is from Kansas, and Smith Chris literally called us when he inherited a bunch of kids, and he called here and he bought 5. He bought 5 SSR mini bikes. And they were all prepped, and because we built them, not in the build-off. No. They were built by trained professionals that we pay.
Thank God.
And, but he bought 5 of them, put him in the back of his truck, and literally he came in. He was the perfect customer. He came in. He was like, man, I listen to your podcast. You guys are stupid funny. And he was like, I kind of came in here. I didn't know what to expect because he's watched our podcast. He's played along at home. But he did buy 5 bikes, and the guy's super cool, and he had on a fucking AVE shirt. So the dude comes in with a fucking sideways knuckle buster, right? Yeah. And he comes in wearing the fucking officially unlicensed gear of this podcast. And he just came in, he bought his bikes, he didn't act like a fucking schmo. He didn't proceed to try to tell me a story about the 1971 Yamaha he once saw in the living room somewhere, but of a house he was leaving after touching children, I'm sure. But anyway, what he said was he loves the podcast. We loaded the bikes up in the back of his truck, and off he fucked. Now, here he goes to a dealership near his house because he did want to see how the other half lives.
Right.
Because he bought his first whack of bikes from us. So he figured, I'll buy 2 more from somebody who isn't Phil because Phil won't be mad at me.
Right.
So he went in and they proceeded to literally back him up against the wall. And again, you know what he's doing? He's coming back to Cleveland. But you know what he's going to do right this time? He's going to be on the fucking podcast.
Yeah, we need this guy.
I'm very good. And we can have 2 Christmas.
Oh, my God.
Who says Christmas doesn't come twice a year? Christmas comes but once a
Mrs.
year.
Smith says that.
I'm just saying, Chris, you might want to up your game because this guy sounds pretty cool.
This guy's all right, but I'll bet you he doesn't have jokes. But here's what I will say. Do you know what I've been saving for this occasion?
What's that?
Because we're going to have Christmas. I got Christmas ales in the fridge.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to have Christmas, and Christmas ales. And God damn it, I feel like fucking Mike Tyson every time I say that.
Can this be in July so we can do Chris Smith in July?
It'll be whenever he shows up. Look, we got the bikes. We pulled the bikes. He's paid for him. He paid Renee for him today. Oh, so yeah, he's planning on coming out. He goddamn it better come on a Thursday night so we can have a podcast with him.
Quick question: how many kids does he still have?
Yeah, right.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
Oh, well, he's still buying bikes, so he might be trying to liquidate the neighbors' children too.
Well, he's still, because I mean, I'm sure the bike could have been moved to a different kid.
Oh, that's true too.
They're probably still all around.
Oh, that's right. I didn't think about that. Oh, yeah, that's true.
No, he's got the lingo. We like this guy.
Yeah,
This
he's
guy's
good. Yeah, he's clearly got his shit together. I'm a big fan of anybody who shows up and buys 5 bikes. And you're right at the top of my fucking love chart right there. Yeah, exactly. Oh
then
yeah,
comes
you
back
know
and
he's
gets
a
2 more.
fucking really nice 2,000. He's a really good 3,000. Oh man, this fucking guy is really on the 4,000. Holy shit! Like 6,000 reasons to love
my
this guy.
favorite dude.
Yeah, the favorite guy ever. So that's pretty badass. So did you guys know that there's a brand of cheese called Great Lakes cheese?
No.
No, Great Lakes cheese is awesome, and they have branches in Wisconsin and everything. So like Great Lakes cheese, and it turns out one of our customers is an owner of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah. Great Lakes cheese, it's legit. He's like 3rd generation, immigrant, Swiss immigrant.
Is he the guy with that really sweet Moto Guzzi?
He is. Yeah, I mean, I've been drooling. Well, he's got a collection of Moto. He's got a bunch of Moto Guzzis, and I love them all. And he's a very fun, the dude's a fucking hilarious guy. Let's just call it what it is. The dude's a fun guy to have around. But the reason, so he bought a TNT 135 from me and had me put fucking knobbies on it.
Oh, this guy. Yeah.
So this is the guy. And so I've had this bike sitting inside my front door for a week and a half now. Every time somebody comes by, what did you call those? What are those tires called?
Mobbers.
Mobbers. Yeah.
Shinko mobbers.
I thought you said nobblers, and I was like, fucking the shit, man. I just found out about gordita today, and my head's still fucking dealing with it. I didn't know that you're like eating a little chubby girl every time you put a fucking Taco Bell treat in your mouth. What fucking food company would name a food item after a chunky little girl?
Well, that's what when I used to race RC cars, they used to do it at the Holiday Inn down in Independence.
Okay,
And
yeah.
Chi-Chi's used to be next door.
Yeah, it's right next door.
So
yeah.
the whole Mexican team came up from Novak Racing, and they were like, "Oh, can we go to the strip club?" And we're
Because it's called Chi-Chi's. It might as well be called Tatas.
right.
Boobies.
It's called the titty twister. Yeah, Chi-Chi's. I mean, Chi-Chi's is one of those things. Like, everybody's like, you know what that means, right?
Right.
And I was like sitting there eating Fanny
Wait, what
Farmer
does
candies.
Chi-Chi's mean?
And I'm like, and all the British people are like, you know what that means, right? And I'm like,
Seriously?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I never knew that.
Yeah, boobs. Yeah. No, these guys were like, they thought it was a strip bar. They were like, this is great. There's a strip bar right there. And we're like, no, dude, that's like a really lame Mexican food restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
Or an American version of Mexican food. More
But
than
it says it's tits.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So we're going to go hang out at Chi-Chi's and order the Huevos Grande. Right. And so Taco Bell does this thing with a fucking gordita. And of course, I've munched on gordita before. And I find out today.
So have I.
Me too. I find out today.
They're all going to jail.
Oscar's got the merit badge for that. A little merit badge just has a picture of a gordita on it. Right. And so yeah, we got these people that wander into the shop today, and this little girl, she's just she's a little girl. And so her parent, like one of her parents, is like, oh yeah, can she sit on those milk crates over there? Can she sit on those? And I looked over and I was like, she needs to be lifting them. She needs to be climbing up and down on them like a step class. But anyway, so I had no idea. And so later on, they told me that she was a gordita. Yeah. And I was like, that's not right. and then I put it all together because my dumbass, 51 years old, and today I found out that gordita meant chunky little girl. And that Taco Bell wants us to routinely put these things in our mouth. Does chimichanga mean like dick or something? Is there any other hidden code?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Maybe in Puerto Rico. I don't know.
And that explains why Mexican people won't eat at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got really sad when they took away the bendito and cheese.
Bendito and cheese.
Bendito.
The shaved pendejo. Oh, and back to Manscaped. You can have your new shaved pendejo at home. Right.
What are they with the Huevos Grande?
Well, you can have your shaved pendejo with queso blanco. Hey. So anyway, he had us put the knobbies on there. So every customer that's come in has walked past that bike. I'm going to tell you guys, TKC 80s make my dick hard, and I can put a TKC on anything, I'll put a TKC 80 on. So much so that we have sold out. There are no more TKC 80s in America. They are on fucking intergalactic back order, and I'm convinced it's because of me. But so everybody who sees that bike with the knobbies on it, they're all just like, oh man, yeah, like can you do that? And I'm like, yeah, I can keep doing it. I'll buy tubes and tires all goddamn day long.
Are you sure he's not a photographer? Because he has photo 1 on his...
No. Now this is the 0. So this is a 0 that we put together for this guy.
Oh, the other one.
So
okay.
he's got the green TNT.
The TNT. Okay.
Yeah, the TNT 135 with knobbies on it.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. No, I thought you were talking
Let's
about...
just call it for what it is. That's for inappropriate class racing only. He's like, the only reason I'm buying this bike, Phil, is to do barrel racing at Mid-Ohio. He straight up said that. And he's bigger than you in John. Yeah. Not shitting. This dude's a big dude.
I'm not trying to think about that.
But say what you will, the guy's a rock star. He's loads of fun. He's doing racing at Nelson's Ledges this year. Ooh. So he's going out. He got himself a 2-cow suit, and he's going to go out and take on the track. So he's going to leather up and fucking get his knee down. That's fucking cool. That's badass. So, and you know what he does? He's a cheesemonger.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a fucking cheesemonger. And so that's why I buy Great Lakes cheese, because I want to sell the guy more motorcycles. Yeah.
He's going to be in Mid-Ohio and it's going to crash. And they're going to be like, bring a crowbar. Why? We got a 135 stuck in the guy's ass crack.
Now, Kurt, do me a favor. Hold your mouth closed real tight. Okay, now somebody go over here and give him CPR. Pop that bike right out of it. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, he hit a bump real hard and the bike just disappeared. Yeah. Did it disappear? It's suppository. And that's where it went. No. That's all I got. Anybody got anything else?
I got a tech question.
Oh, fire away.
Is there some kind of weird little miniature funnel to use to get oil into Vespas?
There is. You didn't know about it?
No. Oh, I haven't done the oil change yet. But I looked at the hole it's got to go in.
For the oil change? Okay.
Yeah, so modern Vespa scooters. So if you're looking at a modern Vespa scooter, there's only one hole to put oil into the bike in, and it's the same oil that the dipstick goes into. And in the interest of making the bike safe so that nobody accidentally put diesel into their Vespa crankcase, just like the cars, instead of having it be a normal sized hole, like, every motorcycle in the world has a hole that, you can use somewhat of a normal funnel for
something
reasonable, right? The reasonable. And that's normal. The hole that Vespa chose to use is child safe, in so much that no part of a child could fit in that hole, period. They have made sure that getting the oil into the hole requires a diabetes syringe, an insulin syringe. But there is a secret method. The secret method is dollar store turkey baster.
Okay.
Yep, dollar store turkey baster. Because you can either fill the thing up and use it. Now, the tool that I use is literally the oil can that has the little thumb trigger on the side. I have one that holds a quart, and it will empty in about 12 presses. Hey, that one was good. See, when Foley's done right, it can enhance the experience.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man, move the fire a little closer. So but that is the trick, and you're right. Vespa put a ridiculously tiny hole on there. I don't know why they put such a tiny hole on there, but they did, and it's the case with the Primaveras that you do have to have a really, really, really tiny funnel to do it. Don't get smart. I have bought the long transmission funnels. So in the auto parts store, they sell this funnel that is so long that they can only sell it in black. Okay, you can't buy a yellow or a red one. They're only black. But it's got, the top of it is big. It holds normal things at the top, but the bottom of it tapers down to fit into where your transmission dipstick would go. So it's pretty small, something like that. And you'll think that I'll use that to put oil into the side of my Vespa motor. Don't, because what will happen is you'll fill it up and you'll have a quart of fluid up here and it won't go into the hole. And it won't seal either, so all that fluid will come out on your garage floor. And then you will have no idea how much is on your garage floor, and you won't know how much to put in.
That's what I was going to ask. So, if it's that small of a hole, is there a vent or a breather that's going to allow you
well, it's not really a vent. It's just don't jelly that fucking turkey baster in there.
Okay.
Just let it rest. Let it rest. And don't try to squeeze it in. But the idea is we've tried a number of different really small funnels. And to get a funnel that's small enough, you generally end up having no flow at all. So the turkey baster is actually perfect.
And I was thinking about the little pump oil can.
Yeah, that's what I have. Yeah, and that's what I have. And I've got one that's 16 ounces, and I've got one that's a proper quart. And
Maybe they sell those in Harbor Freight, right? They actually,
I'm sure they sell them everywhere.
They do have those little
I would want to buy one of those though from an old timey hardware store.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Because that's kind of the right item. You don't want to buy one of those at Harbor Freight. You know it'd be janky as fuck.
Yeah.
But if you got one that like literally said like, you know, something that said like True Temper on the side, it'd probably be pretty good. You know, it'd probably be pretty legit. Yeah. Anyway, you going somewhere with that, Steve?
No.
No, you didn't want to come around the horn on that one? It's okay. We'll just let that one just drop
if you got
out.
the Harbor Freight one, it would probably make a different noise. It wouldn't make Please have been working for 3 days straight. You know?
Harbor Freight has gone very upscale. So like Harbor Freight's all their shit now is like we don't do coupons anymore.
Yeah.
Like oh no, Harbor Freight is completely going upscale.
They have all their own lines now.
They've taken all the fun out of it. I mean, they have really. It's no fucking fun anymore. Harbor Freight used to be like, it's a bonanza. Who knows what you're gonna get? I got an electric fly swatter. Let me see your. Hey, quick! Let me see your dick. Zap! You know, like there's horrible shit you could do with that electric fly swatter. I don't know why. Anytime we'd send any of our staff members to the fucking, we had one at the old store in Lakewood. We had one, and anytime we'd send somebody like, go to Harbor Freight and buy me these 47 items. You'd always be like, why did you buy the electric fly swatter?
Right.
Well, it was $3 with a coupon. I could not buy it.
Right.
And you're like, all that does is kill 9-volt batteries. But yeah, sooner or later, what are people doing? Oh, well, I got a fly trapped under there, and I'm trying to kill it. Hold on. Zap! And like, then you're like, shit, that son of a bitch hurt. Like, it really hurt. The fly was impervious to it. Yeah, couldn't hurt a fly.
Speaking of Harbor Freight, you know how we have a love-hate relationship with the strappies, the tie-down
the
straps.
tie reps, yeah,
right.
tie straps.
So the dude on YouTube, Farm Test or Farm whatever, he bought like 20 different tie-down straps.
Okay, all right.
And he put them through torture tests that were fucking awesome. Like he made a rig which is suspended them and it put a razor blade and like the same force and everything every single time across it. And so like if you watch the video, if you just look up like tie straps, whatever. There's a brand that lasted like 22 scrapes of a razor before it broke. Then he even had a belt sander with a new belt every single time, and he pulled it across that, and then how long it lasted. So the best one, like this, and they're not even expensive, like $37 for 4, right? That lasted almost 58 seconds on the belt sander. It lasted for like 21 scrapes with the thing and all this stuff. Harbor Freight lasted 4.1 seconds on the belt sander. It lasted 3 pulls of the razor blade. It's supposed to be rated for 500 pounds. It like turned into spaghetti at like 205. Like it was just.
It lasted 4 seconds on your trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no shit.
yeah. But it just proves, like, people are like, oh, it's just bullshit. It's all hype. No, it's not.
It's bad.
They're really bad.
It's legit. You guys, there are things you're allowed to buy at Harbor Freight. But don't buy the fucking Harbor Freight fucking motorcycle hauler.
No.
Don't buy the Harbor Freight wheel chocks. Don't buy the Harbor Freight fucking tie-down straps. Don't buy the Harbor Freight heart pump. Like, no, just don't do that shit.
I'm guilty of it too, man. Like, I'm going to get a mint bike that's, you can't replace, from whatever, 1980 something. And I'm taking like $7 worth of straps to hold this thing down. It's not
Some
brilliant.
bungee cords and shit.
I love the guys that used to be like, okay, so... Yeah, I bought a Harbor Freight trailer, but they're not that bad. Hold on. All you got to do is this. So then they give you like the 900-step program about how you need to rebuild the Harbor Freight trailer.
And weld the secondary frame.
And then the guy who did this, his name shall remain nameless, Rob Hodge, but he did this. He built this fucking Harbor Freight. And then he was like, well, then he reinforced it, and then he reinforced it, and then he reinforced it. And then he blew an axle bearing whatever on the freeway.
Oh, yeah, you can't, right.
And then the whole thing, and then had to basically go to Farm and Fleet, abandon the Harbor Freight trailer, go to Farm and Fleet and buy an entire axle to change. Okay. If you've changed every part of it, is it still a Harbor Freight trailer?
Right, and the thing is like, so the Harbor on the super deal sales, it's like $300, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't come with the floor. It doesn't come with all this. You still have to put a bunch of shit into it to make it like an actual trailer.
And do you know what the problem with it is?
It still sucks.
All the bolts came from Harbor Freight.
Right, exactly.
So, you don't trust a trailer that fits in a box.
And
because if you can't have the dignity to give me at least 2 8-foot-long spans of steel. Well, can't give you 8-foot-long span of steel. Too expensive to ship. I'm going to give you 4 2-foot-long pieces. You're going to bolt together and make 1/8. You don't bolt things together to get length. Yeah. They weld railroad track, motherfucker.
Well, especially
straight.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And you can get a nice trailer, a 5x7 trailer for like $650. Like
I know people who leave them in their backyard and would not know if it was missing.
Right.
My buddy Joe Hongosh has had a trailer I bought for him 20 goddamn years. A good trailer. It grew up. There was so much grass growing through Joe Hongosh's, like my trailer, that nobody would have known there was a trailer back there. You could have stolen the trailer as long as you left the grass there. He would have never known the trailer was gone. Joe, you've been in the backyard. You've seen it, John.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful 5x8. Took 2 motorcycles side by side, day long, reinforced it so the wheels could go into the chocks in the front. 2 tied-on straps on each bike. Bob's your uncle, hauls like nothing. Like it's invisible behind your truck. Joe was like, yeah, I'll just, put it in the backyard. And we put it in the backyard. And after like 7 months, Mother Earth claimed that bitch.
Yeah.
Like that was it. And anybody in Cleveland could have picked that up and had $79 worth of scrap or a real trailer that was legit for just the price of walking through Joe's backyard. Wow. So walk through the suburbs. You're probably going to get a trailer out of the deal. Yeah, for real. And you know what? They won't know.
No,
they'll never miss it, man. That's the thing. I used to have a big ass car trailer and I left it in my in-laws back, the upper 40 of their farm. And like his wife called one time. She's like, yeah, you need to get this trailer out of my property. How did you know it was there? I strategically put it in a place nobody could even see it unless they were looking for it. You couldn't fall over it because you couldn't get to it for the brambles. Like there's no way you would have known that was there and you couldn't have seen it. I could have given you a metal detector. You couldn't have found that trailer. But the fact was she knew it was there.
Yeah.
And so it had to go because it was rusting on her acreage. And it was hilarious because I'm like, oh, man, this is the trailer that brought your new tractor home. And you're going to, man, no fucking honor. Anyway, but that's it. So yeah, trailers, rent them. Rent the motherfucker. Rent a trailer. You know what's the best thing in the world? U-Haul trailer.
Yeah.
You know why it's the best thing in the world? Can't break it. You know what the second best thing is? Every time they blow a tire, they bring you another one.
Right.
How long does it take to change a U-Haul tire? Nobody knows because nobody's ever changed one. They just bring you a new trailer. It takes you longer to get your shit out of it and get your shit into it. Everybody who's ever had a trailer flip over, everybody who's ever had a trailer blow a tire, everybody's had a bike fall over because the trailer broke or whatever, they all said the same thing. I should have rented a U-Haul trailer. $26 a fucking weekend. That's what I'm probably going to do for Mid-Ohio. Probably going to rent a U-Haul trailer, load it full of bikes because you can, on the twin axle trailer, you can put the bikes in sideways.
I was looking at a 7x16 enclosed trailer for $3,000, which is, I was like, well, just load all my bikes in it and take it out to Steve's place.
Take it out to Steve's property. That's just another shed.
Another
That's what
container.
I'm saying.
That's a 7x16 shed is what you got going
you
on
can
there.
fit a lot of bikes and stuff in
that's
there.
it. Yeah. I could bring Kromke's trailer out there, and now we have a trailer with air conditioning.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
there you
shit.
go. Oh, shit. Got screen windows, got air conditioning. That's
We call
it.
that a house.
We call that a house. Yeah. It's the most air conditioned thing. So like John's trailer or John's camper and then Steve's or Dan's trailer, we can put them right next to each other and just be like, that's the air conditioned. So on a hot date, you're going to be like, where's all the dirt bikes? And just be like 9 guys huddled into these 2 places staying
Speaking
cool.
of that, I think, isn't this weekend is scheduled the first mini Ohio, isn't it? Wasn't it?
Is it?
Well, I'm probably going to be out of because I got to go to Mom's house on Mother's Day.
On Mother's Day?
Oh, it's
Yeah,
Mother's
it's Mother's
Day.
Day.
Oh, it's Mother's
Sunday.
Day.
Shit.
Or as I like to call it, Mother's Day. Because fuck you guys, I'm going to go out.
Well, it used to be Mudder's Day because every year in Pennsylvania they had a mud bog that was
bog.
on Mother's Day.
Oh, a lot of divorces caused by that one. So everybody still got to see the weird cars. So we got the Daihatsu midget showed up today. That's fun. I'll put them up. If you just watch my Facebook or watch the Cleveland Moto stuff, we got like 6 weird Japanese cars arrived in the past couple of days. So
Some of the weirdest ones you've gotten.
I'd like to say that one of them in particular, has staggering levels of stupidity.
Oh.
Yeah, there's, and by the way, that car doesn't have a good side.
Yeah, no good sides,
Yeah.
and it seems almost unusable for most things.
It does seem like they managed to take the idea of having a truck,
Yeah.
and then say, how can we ruin this?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
What's the least amount of stuff we can carry?
Oh, you want to bring your cat with you? No, sorry.
Nope, can't do that. No. What if you pick up a friend on the way to work?
Not
No,
happening.
can't do that. No. You know what?
It's really close to the Ape.
It is like an Ape.
Really
it
fucking.
is so
just
close.
take one tire
Yeah.
off and then it's an Ape.
And that is the difference. It's an Ape that can corner.
yes.
Because you can't corner an Ape.
Yeah,
right.
true.
You'd be like, oh, I'm going to take this corner and they're upside down again. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. The only one thing an Ape can't do, well, a lot of things an Alpe can't do. Let's be honest. But there's only one thing it can barely do, and it's it can barely drive. But this this Daihatsu midget, Google it, Daihatsu midget. It's 2 words. One of them's hard to spell. The other one's inappropriate. Which is totally our podcast. Yep. But yeah, it's literally Google Daihatsu midget. Daihatsu midget is the dumbest car ever made, and it's funny. I mean, the joke so far is you can't roll the left window down. It's like they were cutting costs so much that they made sure that you couldn't roll the fucking left window down. That is the height of just we're just not really trying too hard on this, which the Japanese generally do very well. Like, you know,
It was too far from the driver to open the thing.
it was not. There's nothing. Okay, first of all, the car is so
one
tiny.
seat.
There's nothing in that car you can't hit with your dick. Like, seriously. Even an Irish guy. Okay, turn on the wipers. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, open the window.
But you've driven it. You've been in it and driven it.
I've driven it a very short distance.
So you are 6'1".
6'1". Yeah.
How do you fit in there?
200. Barely.
I was gonna
Like I
say,
said, with
it's-
all these Japanese cars, it fits me like pants. Yeah. With the picture, like having Kromke in the thing, it looked hilarious. It looked like a novelty act watching him get in and out of that
Like,
thing.
did they build the car around him?
It was like they did. Yeah, it was exactly.
But it's a midget too.
It's a midget too. That's correct. Because the original midget, there is an original midget. So the
Both windows didn't roll down.
I just like the fact
the
that
midget too, the one window rolls
I like the
down.
fact that they were like, let's make the body skinny enough that we have to have giant fenders, and the car's only 3 feet wide.
it's terrible.
Together.
Yeah. Oh,
You're calling it a midget. I think it should be called an Oompa Loompa.
There you go. That's an original
I forgot
Daihatsu
about
midget.
that one. Yeah.
So that's an original Daihatsu midget.
And that's a 3-wheeler.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a 3-wheeler. Yeah. So God bless them for putting an extra wheel on the front. Thank you, fucking Daihatsu. So here's the weird thing. Because the car is at such a weird angle, when you look in your side view mirrors to back up, you're always at a 45 degree. So when you literally, any other car you've ever driven it, you look in your mirror, your side view mirror to back up, and you get the line of the car.
Yeah.
Well, the line of this car is an angle. It's a fucking wedge.
Yeah.
So because the angle of this car is an actual wedge, what you end up with is you end up not being able to park it at all normally because you're like, if you just use the mirror, you're always going to be at the curb at a total angle. So there's among the, like, honestly, like that's the only problem with driving this.
Those black
No, you
plastic.
have to use both mirrors, so you're going like,
Look, those black covers are off of the bed rails. and
Yeah,
just
you can.
have
I
to-
mean, you can take those black covers off. In fact, most of the time, the local kids in the neighborhood help you with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the one guy who had his stolen now starts the chain of everybody else getting them stolen. So to find one, like the one I have has the tire carrier on the front. That's like, you see this one's got the exposed tire. So this car's obviously lived in Tokyo for a while. You notice it's missing its covers on the back, it's missing its chrome bumpers, and it's missing its nose cover. So this car has been liberated. Pieces of this car have now gone to serve other cars. And this is what would happen if you leave your car in Japan and Tokyo too long. All the parts that can come off would disappear. My car has the hubcaps on it still. It has the side for the bed covers and has all the things that are supposed to be on it. Yep. So yeah, it's yep.
For the right amount of money, Manscaped. Phil might be able to hire somebody to drive around with this thing with a giant razor in the back.
giant
of it.
razor that-
Like, remember the
hairy
Red Bull?
balls.
Remember the hairy balls? Yeah. Remember the Red Bull ones?
There you go. So you guys, just a little food for fantasy there.
Oh, yeah.
Daihatsu tow truck with a dually. Yeah.
What's it gonna tow? Like a lawnmower?
Not fucking anything. And you'll notice that the tow truck rig in the back is made out of an old Harbor Freight trailer.
I was about to say.
So on that, we'd like to thank Manscaped, our new sponsors, and Harbor Freight, which will never be our fucking sponsor. Ride fast and take chances. Play us out of here.
Bum, 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 bum,
The Misfits are still wrong. Press the red button.
This episode brought to you by Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0.